Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the home of bearded games. The following broadcast has been rated not suitable for younger viewers or those of a sensitive disposition. For those of you still here, sit the fuck down and shut the fuck up.
I would like to tickle your beard. My hands through it. And use it like a cat uses a plaything.
Bearded Games would like to remind all viewers that we do not accept any responsibility for sleep deprivation, broken limbs, busted eardrums, or any and all physical and mental injury caused while engaged with the channel. No purchase necessary. Typical APR 14,000% while stocks last. See in store for details. You must keep up repayments on your mortgage. Actual value 0.01 pence. Academia is not a country.
What's up, guys? I don't think I'll ever get bored of that intro. Alright, I don't believe everybody else has finished their intro. I think mine's slightly shorter than the others. But what is up, ladies and gents? I know we came back just a little while ago, so I know we've been gone forever, guys. I hope you missed me. That was my intention. Where's that? So as you can see, guys, we're just waiting for we are just waiting for our BizSnes TimeLord to finish their intros, and then we won't move you to a screen where you can't see. Hey, what's up there, JT, my dude? Pleasure to have you. And how you doing as well, Panda? I also don't know. I don't think we have we've not got any music set for all of us to listen to, so I've got that Star Wars playlist playing in the background. Because why the fuck not? Of course you would. Fucking helmet's so dope. But you're drinking tea so your throat and nose aren't angry. I don't think I've ever heard it described like that. I've got an angry nose. Oh, look, all the tweets and retweets. Thank you for all the Twitter attention, guys. Again, don't forget to like and retweet. Hit that click to tweet. Let everyone know where you're hanging out. We are talking the Star Wars. And as you can see, I put it into the title bar. If you check out that link, you'll get the view of all three. So at least you can see like people replying to what messages and chats and such and such and such. But yeah, no, I'll definitely have to try to time this next time to start a couple of minutes later than those guys, because my intro song, hey, what's up? My intro song's only a few minutes. I think we're just we're just waiting for those guys. And JT, I don't know if you're aware you were muted, or were you waiting for those guys as well?
No, I was just waiting for them.
Okay, cool. No problem. Here to listen to stuff you won't understand. As that sounds good to me. It is all good. We're here to learn. Yeah, we're just being a little bit more patient because those guys are doing their intros. I'm too basic bitch. My intro's too quick. I'll stretch it out next time. And yes, I definitely said that. Nice. Okay, I've also got. Oh, look at that! I add you guys as my friends. Okay, so those guys have both got their cameras on now. They are just they're just deafened though, so. I'll tell you what I need to do. I need to put on my Star Wars image on this bit, don't I? What's up there, BP 001? Hollow Chronicles. Hollow Chronicles is the name. Is just a clever little name for this little talk show podcast thing that we're doing. As in, if I pull up the tweet from it, you can see our buddy that's arranged this with us, our main host, so to speak. Please check him out. A little bit of a play on words. Oh, there's my Star Wars video games.
Okay.
Hey, what's up there, buddy?
Hi. There we go. Hi.
What's up there? I think we're just still waiting on Banter. Should really replace that when we're doing that, shouldn't it?
Okay, sorry. Had to
Hey,
make
what's
a
up,
little
buddy?
pit stop before we started it.
All right, so we'll be listening to the Spotify playlist of Sound Wars soundtracks. 26 hours of Star Wars music.
Have you got a
All
you got a link to that?
John Williams.
Have you got a link to that? Because I
Spotify?
Oh, it's Spotify. Fair enough. I do not have this. Has the Spotify? I'm not going to pay for Spotify Premium, and I don't want to be reminded of that every 13, like 3 or 4 songs.
Whoa. We like clicked our cameras on at the same time, Time Lord, without like
Whoa.
any planning. The Force is with us.
It is. It must clearly be with
Yeah.
us. I think that's what's going on.
It must be.
What's up, guys?
Hello.
So yeah, so we're hanging out with some awesomes tonight. We've got a motley crew in here doing some stuff, talking Star Wars.
All
Talk a
things
little
Star Wars.
Oh.
I mean, there is a lot of Star Wars to talk about.
Oh, especially
so
now.
I mean, there is an unending, and we're not going to talk spoilers right away. So we're going to actually talk about who we are and why Star Wars means a lot to us first. So that will be a while, and we'll let you know when the spoilers really start flying. But we are just warning you off the bat that we will be talking about the end of The Mandalorian Season 2, where the Mandalorian kills Dumbledore, but only because Dumbledore wants him to.
Well, it's
That's a
because
deep
at the end
cover,
of that
yeah.
mission, well, I mean, because Mando eventually has to carry the ring to Mount Doom, and it's
and the
important
Eagles
that he
could have
does
done it the
that,
whole
yeah.
damn time,
They
but
could've
they
so
show up
easily.
5
Oh my
minutes
God.
before the end.
Things are good with the
My
Eagles.
God.
They were actually going to the Eagles in the first place. I don't know if you knew that, but that's where Dumbledore was leading them.
The
And to
Eagles
anybody-
were off fighting their own stuff. You have no idea what the Eagles were
They
up
had
to.
a lot on their plate. So this quickly turned
They're
from
busy
Star Wars
trying
to
win
Lord
a
of the Rings.
Super Bowl championship is what they were doing, man. Yeah, go Eagles. I don't know about sports.
And to anybody
Yeah.
hang out, use the Force, Harry, said Gandalf.
Somebody was
that's from
throwing
the Star Trek
batteries
movies.
then.
Yeah. There was squid on the ice. I don't understand what was happening. It was weird.
So,
But yeah,
Very
if you're
strange.
confused, I sound a lot like BizSnes, but I don't look a whole lot like a SNES because you know if I wasn't trapped inside of a video game console, we would look and sound exactly the same because we're twin brothers. So that's
Well, I think that
Yeah.
what you guys are failing to understand is that when he hangs out with a Time Lord, all things through time and space are possible, even taking him back to before he was turned into a console, and now he's here talking to you as a human.
whoa.
and to be fair, I'm British. This is where Doctor Who like originated, so I can confirm that is how Doctor Who time works.
Yeah, and it's where Star Wars was filmed. So
Which parts of it was?
Tunisia.
I was gonna say, as I know a lot of it was like in Tunisia and stuff.
that's all the desert stuff. Everything inside, like all of the internal stuff, was done at Pinewood Studios, which is where they did like James Bond and all that fun stuff.
Oh, okay.
So that's why a lot of the actors outside of the main cast are British and from other British TV and stuff like that. So,
I feel like
but the helmet is Poe Dameron's helmet.
me and JT here are a little bit lacking. We don't have the we don't have like the fucking flashy background of all the awesome stuff in the backgrounds.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
I-
you mean
I-
you're not a monument to consumerism? Damn.
No, I'm
How
not
dare
even
you.
joking. I do have like a shit ton of posters, but I don't have any of them up just because I don't plan to stay in this apartment that much longer. So I'm like, why bother putting them up?
I've got a
And
few
with
things
posters,
here
you
and
gotta
there,
take
but
Special care of them and stuff like that too.
Yeah. Yeah, I plan to move into a bigger place sometime next year. So it's just a matter of time, really.
but at least I've
But-
got Darth Tater on the side. So you guys might have lightsabers, but I've got this lightsaber. So screw you guys.
So,
Got this lightsaber.
for the people outside of our various streams, why don't you kick us off with your tater there, Maddie, and
Mhm.
tell the people a little bit about yourself, who you are, and we won't get into like the Star Wars stuff yet. We'll just get into like the basic introductions. But Maddie, why don't you go first?
Well, cool. I'm Matty P. You want to find me as Matty P89 on Twitch, Bid Games, pretty much everywhere else. But I don't play Rocket League anymore, so I can't say I'm a a variety Rocket League streamer anymore. But no, I'm a variety streamer. But instead of variety streamer, I like to call myself a marathon streamer because when I start a stream, I don't really stick to any real schedule because I'm fucked up. So what I'll do is I'll go live, and then if you get a notification that I've gone live, even if you come like turn up like 12 hours later, there's a good chance that I'm still there. And so I like to marathon my way all the way through. So it's like that's all this is really about me. I swear a lot. I've got a very colourful vocabulary, but other than that, it's just a Brit with a beard. And it's lovely to be here, guys.
Meter Maid with the sub, 4-month streak. Oh my goodness. 4
Ooh.
months sub. Well, I don't have any notifications. What's going on?
Did you make a new
here?
scene to set up
Hold
for
on.
this Star Wars thing?
There's a better than average chance that might be going on here. Hold on. But no, my alerts should still be alerty.
They should be.
Ah,
But that is a great segue to tell us who you are, there, Lost Time Lord.
hi Viking, hi Ami. Hello, I am the Lost Time Lord, and I am all kinds of wibbly wobbly, timey wimey over here on my Twitch channel and various other things that I do on the internet. Yeah, that's I got. I'm the loud guy who drinks a lot.
All right, and we've got a community member joining us who I talk about Star Wars with him almost constantly on Twitter. And so when I was like, "Hey, would you want to come on a Star Wars show?" he said yes. So Jedi, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're up to.
Oh, hello. My name is John, or JTJediMaster Jedi, as I'm known on Twitter. And when I used to stream on Twitch, that's my handle I used to go by. I haven't streamed in a while, just because life stuff, too much going on. But
Life happens.
yeah, life happens. I mean, I'm now working like 2 jobs right now, so it makes it really hard to make time for streaming. So, but I got invited to join in on this thing, and I was just like, hell yeah, I got some extra time on my days off. So
Always got time to talk Star Wars.
oh yeah, always time to talk Star Wars. I've just a big gamer geeky kind of guy. I'm into like all kinds of different stuff, video games, Star Wars, comics, you name it, anime.
BDSM.
I'll give you a rain check on that one.
Maybe
He's
episode
also,
2.
Yeah. Speaking of anime, you're also an aspiring voice actor, are you not?
Yes, I am. I'm still in the beginning stages of everything. It takes forever to work your way into getting in with all kinds of different studios and all. I'm on
Get an agent. Get a real good agent. That's the best advice anybody.
See,
Every time, Panda.
It's good to get an agent when you actually have work behind you, though. That's the problem with me. I don't have the work behind me to really get an agent interested.
I was going to say, don't you have to pay an agent?
You pay the commission with what work they get you, and they take like 15-20% of every cut, something like that. I don't remember the exact numbers.
They do that
But
confusing.
that's definitely a much later down the road kind of.
You've already had some cool auditions though.
Yes,
So-
I've had plenty of cool auditions and stuff. Like I didn't even think I would ever be able to try to audition for. A lot of them I can't talk about, but
Those goddamn NDAs.
Yeah, never want to chance it,
Oh no, not at all.
But
Don't want to step on people's toes.
oh yeah, definitely. But like, and not just that, but also being able to actually meet some of these people that I've heard in video games, cartoons, anime, and all this stuff since I was like a little kid, back when Toonami was on TV.
Oh, Toonami.
And like I would just like my first voice acting class I took, this guy who voices Krillin in Dragon Ball, or
Carl Hubert. Was it Carl Hubert? Because
no, that's Sunny
Gohan.
Straight.
Yeah.
Sunny Straight is that one. Kyle Hubert.
Yeah, Carl Hubert's Gohan. I got it confused.
Kyle Hebert is he's a teen Gohan, yeah.
And the narrator.
No, I have met him before several times though. He's a really cool guy. And
so,
I've just been able to learn from Sunny Straight, Chris Rager, and a few other voice actors in classes I've taken, and it's
That sounds
it's
like a
hell of an
blast.
experience because it's just like, I'm starstruck at the same time that I'm learning, interesting stuff on like how the industry works, like good, voice acting techniques and all this other stuff. And it's even if nothing comes of it, it's still been a hell of a journey, going through it all. And I don't want to give it up anytime soon.
So
yeah, getting to learn from those people has got to be awesome.
so that
Oh,
just leaves you, Biz, for you to introduce yourself to
Yeah.
everybody.
I'm
Those that don't know.
roommate or Joe. I'm gonna take this helmet off because it actually like is hurting my brain almost. Like I don't know what it is about like just kind of the shape of it, but it just
It's because
is just a little
of
too.
the sequel thing.
Yeah, right. It
It's
just
what's
yeah.
burning in your it's what's
It's just
burning in your mind.
rotting into my brain. But yeah, full-time streamer on Twitch. I've pretty much loved Star Wars since I can remember. And someone was like, "You should do a Star Wars live stream on Twitch," and I was just like, "Well, we were already talking about doing a Star Wars live stream on Twitch, and now we're doing a Star Wars live stream here on Twitch." So yeah, thank you all for joining me and hanging out. I've got a lot of Star Wars crap behind me, as you can see, because I'm a slave to plastic baubles and things to recapture my childhood. But like, man, the toys just look so much better than they ever did as we were kids. Like, it's like incredible how,
Oh, yeah,
how nice
nowadays.
the toys look right now.
It's like
Oh,
the,
yeah.
the Star Wars Black series. They're just works of art. They're fucking gorgeous. If I had more disposable income, I was like, I can't sneer at your guys' background because mine would be just as like cluttered if I had the disposable income. So it's only jealousy from me over here, to be honest.
And like I said, with that the helmet that I was just wearing, I got for $30. I got it on sale. It like usually retails for like $75, $80, and in fact, like you still can't now find it for like less than that, which is kind of wild. Because it's now gone back up because all of a sudden Star Wars popularity is coming back. But like, yeah, there was that really nice time, like because Rise of the Skywalker like tanked Star Wars just enough that stores were like, oh man, we gotta get this. We gotta get this
drop
stuff
this
out
now.
of our stores. Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's just like, oh, buy
Liquidate
2
quick.
figures, get 1 free. You know, like GameStop's always got like 20% off figures going on. And they can't keep any of their stock in the back because they have no space for it, so they have to put it out right away. And it's like every once in a while, the getting is so good for Star Wars, and that like takes us back to like our original days, because like people don't think people don't really remember like
Did we
well
just
Tom
lose
does.
JT?
JT, are you there? We lost your
We lost
camera.
your
Yeah,
camera.
yeah. I don't know why it went out on me.
Had
It's
to
all
pick
right.
his
I know
nose
I'm
real
boring.
quick.
Yeah.
That's
But
weird.
so
Hold on.
like after Return of the Jedi came out, they like
Power
stopped
steering.
making Star Wars merchandise,
Hey,
right?
Chubby Elbow.
Like it was really, really hard to get Star Wars merchandise, and I was born in '86, so like I still remember like all of my old Star Wars toys came from like rummage sales and stuff like that, because you
same.
had to go find the old stuff and stuff like that. And we were actually at Toys R Us when they opened the first box of Kenner 94 figures, right? And it's like, even though they were making new Star Wars toys, it's just like you almost still like the old ones more, because even though the old ones looked less like the characters, at least they weren't these like weird buff characters. Like nobody.
They kind of went
Yeah,
up a
those
body
were
size,
so buff
didn't they?
and weird. Yeah, dude. Like I remember when those toys came out. Like obviously, I was of the age where those were targeted at me, and I remember buying those. My parents would go out and buy those toys for me. Like when I asked, I remember one night my parents went out and they're like, "What do you want?" Because like I don't know why, but like for some reason they said they would get me a toy when they went out for their date, and I was like, "I want a Star Wars toy," and like that was always my go-to. And I remember like I still have it in my parents' house. I have a bunch of those original toys, all of them missing a lot. Whoa,
Yeah.
what's happening?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, we're doing
We're
the Brady
shuffling.
Bunch. This
Yeah.
is the story of 4 dudes that love Star Wars so much they talk about it with the audience.
I'm just waiting
It's,
for
it's like It's like my webcam's trying to come back on, but it just dies again.
Is it?
It's all right.
I hope
As
it's
long
not
as
messed up.
Is it like a
One
loose
of them had
wire?
a beard of gold, like my mother. The youngest one in curls.
Give me 1 second. I'm going to disconnect and come right back.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. But
Let's kick this guy out. Fuck this.
Oh my god.
we force pushed him out of the
I'm
call.
so glad he's gone. It's about time. Just kidding.
Paul's fucked his camera. Camera around the rosy. Started getting dizzy, to be honest. Didn't know where I was going to be sat.
But yeah, the new Black Series toys are easily the best figures that have like I splurged and got myself the Black Series Snow Speeder
Yeah.
because it was $100 cheaper than the Black Series TIE Fighter. Like the Black Series TIE Fighter was like close to $250, and I was just like, I can't do it. I can't, like, that's just too much for a toy. Like there's a $300 Millennium Falcon model kit, but that's like something that I get to put together, right? That's
Mhm.
like
Yeah, that's a
that's
project.
like a
That's a
that's like
fucking project.
that's like a 3 or 4 month project at least, you know, putting that thing together. So like that's worth it because it's like I put in the time, I get to learn how to model that well. But like this snow speeder, I was like, all right, it's like $100 for this really nicely painted snow speeder. I'm gonna splurge, and like it's everything is to scale, like with the figures inside of it. It looks like it could be the model that they use to shoot the movie. Like I love that thing.
Yeah, no, that
So
would
obviously
be
it doesn't
absolutely
fit in your
worth.
room. It's scale size, right? Because you know, you can fit on it and
Yeah.
drive around. You drive around Seattle with it, is what's going on. Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
You know, you want to talk, you want to talk about things that kids have today that I would have like lost my goddamn mind over. The Power Rangers land speeder. Like, oh
Thanks for
my
the host,
god, I
Bob,
would have
BV.
died for that thing. Like, I can't believe they made that a real thing. I would have loved to have had a little pop. Like, I wanted the Batmobile as a kid, but
Yeah.
the land speeder would have gone nuts.
The one toy that I always wanted from Star Wars as a kid was that fucking AT-AT. Like,
Yes.
I wanted the AT-AT so bad. My friend had it, and my parents were not rich people. They did so well. They did so well and got me a lot of stuff that was way out of
Sure.
their means, and I give them a lot of credit for that, but they just could never justify the AT-AT, and I was always so jealous. So jealous.
I did have quite a few toys where they were kind of like hand me down from my older brothers and stuff. But at one point they were like beaten to shit. Like, and I had one of the original X-wings, but like it only had like one of 4 of the spokes. Like I had the
Sure, yeah.
I had the Millennium Falcon as well, and it's like. At that point, it was like electronic. Had like a few buttons that would
The D cells.
Yeah.
The D cells, yeah, you could press the button on the bottom to make it the noises.
Yeah. It would make a few noises, but like that was completely busted, and like I'd lost like part of the top like panel bit of it. And then we had an ATST and an AT-AT. We had like both of them. So the AT-AT was like,
Wow.
it's like both like all the legs were like fucked. It couldn't move, so it'd just be like stood still. It's like I remember
Even
trying
that would
to.
have been fine by me. Just standing
Yep,
there, I'd have been
100%.
fine with
Yeah,
that.
no, completely.
100%.
As at
Hello,
one point,
Austin.
Hi,
I weren't able to. I was trying to get it to like kneel down, so I was like in that kneel position, but
Yeah.
it busted the 2 front legs, so it could be in the front that position, but it couldn't stand up anymore. It didn't have any stability, so as I ended up like like using it as a base for a Games Workshop battle system once. So I used to be really into a lot of not World of Warcraft, Warhammer and the Lord of the Rings.
Warhammer, yeah.
And at one point I used that beaten up AT-AT to make I use it as part of a battle map for a 40k map. It was just like a bit of like a crossover thing, and it was a project I did with like an after school club at like a Games Workshop after school club. And we spent like 3 or 4 weeks on like building this like it was like a I'd say maybe about like a 8 foot by 8 foot like fucking like full battle map like for a top table. It took maybe like 3 or 4 months in total of us like doing it after school, and but the shop we donated it to the our local Games Workshop store, and they used that as they had it out on the open store for about half a year. And I was
That's
like,
awesome.
and it's like everyone's like, well, why is there an 8080 here? So because things happen, okay. Yeah, it's like
Because why
How
not?
shit goes.
We wanted to repurpose this.
yeah, because there was like a whole bunch of stuff. There was like bits like Star Trek stuff like broken down and like covered in moss and like on the tables, like some Star Wars bits here and there. I'm pretty sure there was like we made a fucking tree. And we made a tree and like hid some Ewoks inside of it and stuff like that. It was a huge project. We spent like 3-4 months. It was like maybe about like 10 of us working on it like after school, and that's probably the biggest thing actually physically made. That was fantastic.
Screenshots or it didn't happen.
Yeah, right. Do you have any pictures of it still?
I'll be perfectly honest. I don't have anything of my life past 10 years ago. Fucking just an ex-girlfriend that went wrong, and I just don't have any of my old
No.
stuff.
Oh,
There's
no.
unfortunately. So there's
I think what you should say as well, actually, I had to enter the witness protection program. and
Yeah, there
My
you
go.
name's really not
Yeah,
Matty
yeah.
P.
So it's like my real name was Hubert Cumberdale,
There you go. That's more interesting.
but no, I don't have lady problems.
So, I also wanted the at real bad, and
Yeah.
so there was a thrift store where we would go to look for Star Wars toys and stuff like that, and we would always check like the feet and stuff like that because you'd see the LFL if you knew it was an actual Kenner Star Wars figure, if
Okay.
it was legit. And this particular thrift store, we found quite a few figures at, right? And like we knew the people that worked there and stuff like that because we were in there pretty regular. And one day they actually did have the at, but unlike everything else, like we had found a Slave 1 in this store,
Oh,
and
that's
it was like super cheap. It didn't have the paddle fins on it anymore because they
Sure.
came off, but like we found like the whole of it, and that was like enough for us to like go crazy as kids, right?
Sure.
Oh yeah,
Um,
obviously. Get the
and
trigger.
like and so my mom tried to like play ignorant, like, oh, my friends, my kids really like that robot dog thing, that's because they like, instead of having it by the other toys, they like had it with the expensive stuff, and it was like $20 or something like that, which was just like a crazy amount
Welcome
of
back,
money,
buddy.
especially like
Right.
we're thrift store people, like we're like $20 is no fucking way, right?
Right, sure.
And so she's like trying to play like nice, like, oh, my kids would really like that, like give us a deal kind of thing. And the guy's like, do you know what that is? Like, that's from Star Wars. And she's just like, shit, like he knows.
What's up, Liz? I'm doing well. How are you?
And
Talking
JT, we
Star
see you,
Wars.
we just don't hear you at the moment.
Yeah, you're both muted and hey, one of the things that I tell people, especially in my improv classes, is that streaming is a lot like the Millennium Falcon. You don't know how it's gonna break, but it will break, and it will break at the most inopportune times, like when you're actually trying to do something.
Yeah,
course.
yeah, no, 100%. Like across the board as well.
Isn't that just life in general?
Right. But it helps you, like in life, what you're doing to the Millennium Falcon makes you feel cool, right?
Yeah.
There we go.
Hey, welcome
Nice.
back, buddy.
Yay!
Sorry, I couldn't get my audio coming back up, so I was trying to fix it.
There you go.
Well, that really threw a spanner in the hyperdrive. See what I did
Oh,
there?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
hey.
I do see what you did there.
Hey.
So,
Yeah.
Very sorry
I-
about that.
oh, don't
That's all
worry.
good, mate.
Like, we know. So
Yeah.
I'll share the first picture here. Oh well, they can't see that very well.
Well, we can pull that up. I can
I'm
pull
seeing
that up
the
on our
screen.
screen though.
But so when the special edition of A New Hope came out, it just so happened that the photographer for our local newspaper was at the theater that we were at, and this family that I pretty much consider my aunt and uncle my uncle at the time was the front page layout editor for the Milwaukee newspaper
That's pretty dope.
at the time. So like the day after Star Wars: A New Hope, the special edition came out, my brother and I were on the front page of the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel for the release of Star Wars, and the next generation getting to enjoy the movies in theaters.
That's awesome.
I'll tell you
Yeah,
one thing.
I
Sorry.
remember you showing this picture before. I still think it's pretty cool.
I never had the chance to actually go see even the re-releases in cinema. The first Star Wars I got to see in cinema was Force Awakens. But to be perfectly honest, like Force Awakens, when that movie came out, there was just so much hope for it before the Last Jedi and everything and stuff happens. It's like it is the absolute only movie in my entire life that I've gone to the cinema to see more than once. It's like
That's awesome.
it's like it's always been a thing. It's like, I mean, especially back. This was back when that first came out and stuff. Not a money person, movies. It's like this. I'll put on a fucking eye patch and a nice big hat, mate. Fucking pirate that shit. I'm not gonna pay like to go see movies all the time. But Star Wars, absolutely went to go see that like I think 2 or 3 times at one point when that was first released.
Oh
And
yeah.
And that was like such an injection of nostalgia.
So
I was gonna say, for me, the first one I ever got to go see in theaters was Phantom Menace. Although I don't remember much of it because I was really young when that one came out. I do remember seeing Attack of the Clones, for sure. But I've got a little bit of a sad story on that one too. So like, I usually try to make sure that I don't use the bathroom the entire time that I'm watching a movie. It's because I don't want to miss anything.
Obviously.
Well, it just so happened that the one time that like my bladder was about to explode right there in the theater, I was like, I gotta go now. That was exactly when the fight scene with Yoda and
Dooku happened.
Dooku
Oh.
happened. I missed the
Oh my
entire
God.
fight. And I came back. My mom was like, "Oh, you just missed Yoda kicking some ass." I was like, "What?"
It's like the thing
Ouch.
I've literally been like wishing and hoping for.
So I never got to see that scene until we got the DVD. Whatever
What a
time
tease.
later. And it was. I know. I'm like, oh my God, are you serious? The one scene that I would have loved to see in that movie, I was like, nope, didn't see nothing. It literally had just ended as soon as I got there.
So
That's unfortunate.
so what about you, Tom? You're a little bit our senior. So was he? So I was waiting for the bird, to be honest.
The
what was
first Star Wars movie that
Yeah,
I saw?
Yeah, what was your first Star Wars? Like in
Shit.
cinema? In cinema, at least.
Well, so I have been told that I was taken to see A New Hope and Empire, but obviously I have no recollection of either of those events. However, I do have a recollection of going with my dad and my dad's cousin to go see The Return of the Jedi. I have memories of seeing Jedi in theaters and like squealing like a child, seeing the Ewoks on the big screen. And I like the thing that I distinctly remember the most, obviously, was Jabba and C-3PO being revered as a god by the Ewoks. Those are two of like the big memories that I had. And I remember that movie like being so ingrained in my memory. Like I went out and we were at a store. I don't remember what store it was, but they had this this book. It was a Lucasfilm book, and it was like behind the scenes of Return of the Jedi. And on the front was like, it was just a picture of the hands with the lightsaber. It was Return of the Jedi.
The blue hands.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I know what post you're talking about.
And I had this book, and it was just it wasn't a hardcover book or anything, and it was just all the different art and like behind the scenes stuff. and I wore that shit down until pages were like literally falling out of it. I was just so into it. I was in the my parents had me enrolled in the Star Wars fan club, the
Oh,
original Star
jealous.
Wars fan club.
Ah,
I had the poster, the Empire Strikes Back poster with Han kissing Leia on the front of it. I had that on my wall growing up. I still have some of my original Star Wars sheets that used to be on my bed when I was a kid.
I had
And
Star Wars pillowcases from like
yeah,
that were like
I
my
still had, like,
dad's.
yeah, it was the whole set. Like, so those sheets and the pillowcases were part of the set. There was a blanket too. You don't get to see the blanket as often though. And as I was mentioning previously, the Star Wars toys that I have at my parents' house are numerous and plentiful, but without any of their associated accessories because of all the toys, maybe minus He-Man toys in my life, my Star Wars toys were the most played with toys that I own.
Well, I mean that's kind of what brings us to why Star Wars is amazing, and excuse me, and why we all love it, and what Lucas I think knew was the important thing about Star Wars is that it's not just about any one individual story, it's about the stories that can happen in the universe. And those toys made an infinite number of stories possible for us.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, totally. Like entire new battles and like fucking like epic decisions were created in our minds and in our fucking back gardens and our bedroom floors. Like every time.
And so I didn't have the same book that you had, Tom, but like we had my next door neighbor gave me a Darth Vader toy without the cape, without the lightsaber, right? And he's just like, "Hey, want some of my old toys?" And I was like, "This guy looks cool." Like because Darth Vader is immediately iconic even in toy form, especially like that old classic like stiff
Yeah,
Darth
right.
Vader
Yeah,
with
yeah.
his arms, but like the face is still there. The Darth Vader face is still there. And my mom,
It's the silhouette of the face and then the button chest pad. They're the that's the most iconic bits about is what you recognize about him instantly.
right, and it's just like
sure.
it doesn't matter if he doesn't have that lightsaber because like you can just paint a toothpick and stick it in there, and that's
Yep.
your lightsaber.
Yeah, right,
It's
right. With like all
yeah.
toys, like all toys turned into Jedi's. It's like
Yep.
you got a couple of GI Joes, goddamn Jedi's. Got some. You got a sis. You found a sister's Barbie. She's a fucking Jedi now. It's like just work with anything. Get those like if they're a smaller toy, get like a cotton bud, the double-sided lightsaber. Get rid of the fluff on it. Paint it red. Double-sided lightsaber. Like,
Absolutely. Like, and your imagination just allowed that. Like, it was a lightsaber. Like, you didn't need one that looked exactly like it. Like, as a kid, that was enough of a lightsaber for you,
yeah, no, you didn't need. It's like you're kids. Like you don't give a fuck about brands. Like what's branding means. It's, well, that I wasn't actually officially licensed. And I was like, you know what? The great battle of like Emmanuel Street of '96 was an epic battle, and that will always be in my memory. It's true. So I remember I kind of banning like my family from going into the back garden for like a couple of days. I spent like a day and a half setting up like with like normal like green action like army men and Star Wars figures and the AT-AT and stuff, and just set up this like entire like almost like just like montage battle in our back garden with like a good like with the army soldiers and stuff. It was a good like 1,000+ like soldiers, and like it was like probably like World War II mixed with Star Wars mixed with just anything that had it was just this huge epic battle. And then like when it started to rain, I was like, yeah, I best stop this. But I spent like a good like day and a half, like 2 days worth of just in the back garden, just arranging these battles already. And then the back of here, in this bit of dirt, there's a group of enemies like trying to sneak into the back area of the base. So they're going to plant a detonator, but there's defenses right there. Again, your imagination like can absolutely go wild with just little action figures.
And I think like when people apparently there was some issue, I don't even know what it was, but some producer on Star Wars said something about people crying in the last couple days and stuff like that, and it set off the fanboys, and it's really interesting that like Star Wars fandom is like is both the best and worst like double-sided knife ever, because like on one side of it it's just like, oh man, like whenever I talk about Star Wars with people, like it's fucking great, like I love talking about Star Wars. But then like you see this other element of people who like Star Wars, and it's like it just gets so toxic and so bad, and it's just like I'm ashamed of the fandom, like the same way that like I'm ashamed of like the people that call themselves Rick and Morty fans now,
Oh,
because
right.
like it's just like, as much as I like want to love the content, like this fandom sometimes can just like absolutely ruin it.
Sorry,
And
Tom.
it's just like,
No, that's not what I was expecting. I was like looking down for a second, like, what the fuck?
Sorry, I just had to type something on my intro and went off. Sorry.
Well, any show has weird fanatics like that, though. It's true.
Yeah, no, it's-
right.
yeah.
As
It's
they
just
say
like
in the- Sorry, Karen.
Game of Thrones, Harry Potter, like
yeah.
Pick
When
an-
people-
toxic
and
fandoms.
Pick an anime.
Cyberpunk, like when people take their fandom too far, it just like it ruins it for everybody. And like, so the thing that people have to remember about Star Wars is like, for me, I don't think that Star Wars is good. I think Star Wars is fun, and there's a difference. Like, I don't think that Star Wars is like I think it's groundbreaking in the terms of like special effects and
Mhm.
like how
Oh, yeah.
movies were made. But like, as far as the story, it's okay. Like, and it's okay to like some of it, and it's okay to hate some of it. But like, at the end of the day, like, if you're still enjoying the stories in this universe, like, enjoy them, and there's nothing that should stop you from enjoying any part of it that somebody else doesn't enjoy,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, fucking,
it's
fucking
just
preach.
different people's interpretations of it. So
Right. Yeah.
some is just way better than others.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
no.
what you said about like the toxic fandoms, like I see that all the time because I'm in a lot of different fandom areas with the stuff that I enjoy, and some of it just gets to borderline ridiculous levels.
Oh, don't
Like,
suppose.
Like I got
Sorry.
one right here, and this is for another like Disney property, the Owl House, which is a animated series on Disney. It's
Oh,
really good too.
I've seen of it.
And and the creator for it, she got a bunch of shit thrown at her just because in an interview that she had, she mentioned that her the lead character in her show can be a bonehead sometimes, just a little snippy little funny comment about her and all that. And then people took that and warped it into her saying that that character is like mentally challenged and all that stuff. And then they wanted her to apologize for saying something like that and everything. I'm like,
For calling someone a bonehead.
for calling someone a bone, I'm like,
Oh,
what
the
the fuck is wrong with you people? And it wasn't just one or two or three people. No, it was like hundreds of people that were like doing this.
man,
And she got so much shit for it for nothing. A little snide little comment just for a joke, and that's it.
2 words for that. As I in the past like couple of years, especially, as if there's like somebody, if someone's got like any type of popularity, there's going to be people that are going to want to fucking like crack down on that. And this past couple of years, this cancel culture is just like exploded, and it's just the idea you say one thing out of line, like in the wrong place, in the wrong context, and then boom, your online career is like dead and buried. It's
Yeah, in the emotional thing that we were talking about earlier, with like Star Wars fans crying or whatever. I saw that with the ending of the Mandalorian, the new season, and I think one of the biggest ones was Star Wars Theory, who was really big on YouTube.
yeah, I know.
And
Star Wars Theory.
I watched his reaction for it and all that. I'm like, what I saw was a man who truly loved what he was watching and was brought to tears by it hitting his childhood right there. I'm
Yeah,
I
no.
wept.
Yeah,
I wept on Discord. Maddie was there. He can attest to it.
yeah,
I
man.
was a crying bitch.
Yeah,
I
no.
couldn't stop myself. From the
it's-
second I saw that X-wing until the end, I was a mess. I was ugly crying. I
Yeah,
couldn't talk.
The only thing that actually changed Tom from like kind of a weeping and being all emotional is what this does to my childhood. Blah. The only thing that sort of was when the as like spoiler at the end when the end credits sequence starts up and it's like wait it's like, Tom wait there Tom
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
glad you
yeah.
didn't pause.
With Bib Fortuna, yeah, no shit, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Fun fact, if you didn't know or not, in that sequence, Bib Fortuna was played by a guy called Matt Wood, who's most commonly known as the voice of General Grievous and the battle droids. But he also played Bib Fortuna in Phantom Menace at the pod race. So,
Right.
I
awesome.
was wondering if they got one of his actors for that scene. I meant to look it up and I never did. That's cool to know actually.
but yeah, no, it was Matt Wood who he was Bib Fortuna in Phantom Menace, but he's the reason. He's like the sound designer. He's the reason why the Clone Wars series sounds so good the entire time, and he's the voice to obviously Grievous, the battle droids, and like a bunch of other of the droids and stuff. And
That's really cool.
and yeah, and you got to reprise Bib Fortuna in that sequence, and they threw in the I don't know if you heard it. He even said McClunky in that sequence, which was the infamous like last words of Greedo that was added in the remasters of it. He says.
So speaking of that scene, I don't know if you guys have seen the. I know that at least one or two of you haven't seen the making of the Mandalorian season 2 that they just released on Disney Plus.
Just watched
definitely. Oh, you did. Okay, so you know what's up. So yeah. Okay, definitely worth the watch. It's an hour plus, but it's definitely worth the watch. The one thing I will say about it is they talk about that scene, and apparently that scene is not just what you see. It is so meticulously recreated Jabba's palace that every single crack in the wall that you ever saw in any of the scenes in Jedi is in that scene.
Yes,
like
That's awesome.
they mentioned specifically, like, you know, when Leia walks in Jedi and she hits her head on the wind chimes that are there.
Yeah.
They're there. Those
Yeah,
fucking
they're-
wind chimes are there in that scene.
That's so
and
awesome.
everything
also-
is exactly the way it was in Jedi.
And also, if you ever knew about the really old school, the Return of the Jedi action figures, the Bib Fortuna action figure came with
With the
like
staff.
a staff, and
Yeah.
everyone was like, "Where was that? Where's the staff at?" And that was obviously the staff he had.
God.
That was the staff he
Yeah.
had.
In the
like,
show.
Yep, and they
Yes.
put that in because of the toy.
Yeah,
the only
and
reason
those-
that was in the show was because of the toy.
Those
And the
details,
only-
man, now you gotta love
and
that.
the only addition to that scene was the throne. But the entire
Dude,
set
I want
was
that throne
1-for-1.
so. I like.
Yeah.
I need like So I guess we're in Mandalorian spoiler territory now, which I guess we've been for like the last 5 minutes at this point.
I've been a
But
bit cryptic about it though. So,
yeah, I definitely think people would get when the X-wing shows up. I wept. Who shows up in
Yes.
Mandalorian? But
See,
Yeah,
real
but
Bib
see,
Ho
but
Dameron
something-
fan, guys.
But something that you don't know is that could also be Ezra.
Oh, sure, of course. I am trying to burn through Clone Wars.
Yeah, you
so
gotta.
we
How far
can
are
talk.
you through that?
I am halfway through season 4, so I just meant General Krill, who is a motherfucking bastard of a
Pong
Jedi.
Krell. Pong Krell.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
So,
there's subreddits
you're
literally
about-
dedicated to him, like /fuck Pong Krell. So literally, he's as hated as much as Ollie from or more than Ollie from Game of Thrones.
Is
Yeah.
that after the Mortis arc, Maddie?
Yeah, no, you must have seen the Mortis arc by now. Father, son, and daughter.
Yeah. With
Oh.
the
Okay,
Force
Okay,
being
we've got a
defined,
big
yeah.
subject to get to in a little bit, but sorry, JT, I interrupted
that's
you.
another episode. Dude, the
Uh-huh.
Clone Wars cartoons, like 17 episodes that
No,
we'll do all in a sequence.
Because
Yeah,
oh yeah, go on, Jedi.
all I was gonna say is like, Biz, you're actually like right where I had left off, and I need to,
You truly
get back
do.
to that part and catch the rest. Like I've seen all of Rebels, but
Oh, you've seen all of Rebels.
Yeah, I've seen all of Rebels, but when it came to Clone Wars, I stopped in like mid season 4, and I just hadn't been able to finish it yet. But I really need to. Like, I know like a few things that happen here and there, but I haven't like watched like the full episodes to get the full context on everything.
Look, if it weren't for the fact that we were doing this, I would already be setting up my share screen, be like, right, what episode, motherfucker? We need to get through this. But
Right.
I can't fathom to you. Well, I'm sure to you guys. I think I'm probably some of the few people that actually understand how much I fucking love the Clone Wars. And it's like it took a while to convince Tom, but like ever since Tom's like, yeah, thank you for actually.
No, it
convincing
didn't
me
need to. It didn't take a while to convince me. I just needed a reason to watch it. I always knew I needed to, but just never had the push.
Just needed the push.
And you provided the push.
And I was like,
I do thank you for that. Thank you for
you're
that.
missing out on some of the best Star Wars content put to film. So
Dude,
you want to get onto
I didn't
that.
stop. Like from the moment I started, like I was just like,
Oh, you smashed the first 6.
Oh yeah,
So,
dude.
I think you smashed out the first 6 seasons out in just under 3 weeks before season 7 started.
That's right.
And it was like, you've got to get there before season 7 airs, bro. That's in like that's in a month. And then he's like smashed it in like 3 weeks. And every now and then I'd wake up like 3-4 in the morning to like blocks of all cap messages. I was like, oh my god, did you see what just happened? Oh my god, oh my god, they just made this. So how dare he? And it was just so many.
So true.
So often it was oh my god, and then on that particular episode, fuck Pong Krell, fuck everything he stands for.
Yeah, it's true. It's so true.
And fun fact, Pong Krell's voiced by the voice actor that does Lee in season 1 of The Walking Dead, Telltale's Walking Dead.
Oh no, that's awesome.
Yeah. So
Lee, there's an emotional story.
So there's a fucking contrast of like hated voice work and beloved voice work.
Yeah, they really make the clones phenomenal characters in Clone Wars.
Fresh, thank you for the sub.
I kind of feel
Suka.
you could probably save just the subject matter clones for like a good few hour conversation, because everything about the clones, like, because watching Attack of the Clones and then Revenge of the Sith, it was a lot of it was kind of like weren't as dramatic as it was trying to pull off, because like, well, why do I care about these nameless clones that were like under the bad guys' rap this entire time? And then you start Clone Wars, and from episode 1 of Clone Wars, you have like Yoda has 3 clones like take their helmets off, and it's like no, so just because you look the same, you're very individual people. And then they just kind of that, and it's like, and season 1's and the first, everyone said, oh, skip for the first couple of seasons, see, that's when it starts getting good. It's like, no. But because like even as this like kid, like supposed kid shows, because it aired on Cartoon Network, people kind of shunned it, people like ignored it a little bit. But it like brings like so much depth and character and like development to everyone, and like I think one of the biggest things I used to say to people to convince them to watch Clone Wars, if they haven't already, is that the Clone Wars genuinely redeems and makes Anakin Skywalker likable, because as like everybody's like first opinion through
it makes him the legend that he is.
That's true, and that's an important part of the story. But the most important characters in the character development that is most important, in my opinion, in those shows is that of Dooku and Grievous. In the movies, they're both basically bitches. Like Dooku gets played like a bitch.
Them.
Yeah, I mean, and like we don't understand why Dooku's a badass, and Grievous, like, what is the story there, right? Like, what the actual shit? And like, and they just kind of get played out like bitches. But when you watch the Clone Wars series, like, there's every episode's dedicated to one or the other of them, pretty much, or like, for the most part. Oh, here we go. Camera roulette again. Where will we end? Where will it end?
Oh my god.
You're back. You seem like you're back.
Please stay camera.
But it actually like answers the questions and makes those characters like totally way more interesting than they were in the movies.
And I think that, so I used to say that I watched the Red Letter Media reviews of the prequels more than the actual prequels. And, one of the things that those reviews get so wrong is that you can't just hold Star Wars to the movies, right? Because it like I was saying with the toys, it is about universe building. It's not just about the movies, it's about all of the different stories that can be told, the real ones, the fake ones, the ones in between.
Right.
And while the movies themselves aren't, particularly the best made, like, especially after watching even the amount of Clone Wars that I have watched, it has made them so much more enjoyable. And like all the things that like they said were wrong with the movies, it's like filled in all of those gaps.
Yeah.
Even down to like the line, there are heroes on both sides. They rectify that line in an episode, with senators working, on both sides of the aisle, right?
Oh.
And it's just like the Dave Filoni
Dave
really is
Filoni.
that, like,
Fucking-
it is that genius. And like I think what people don't realize is that like Star Wars was originally based on like the Flash Gordon, serial show. And so I think the best Star Wars works in that serialized 20 to 25 minute, just little, here's a story,
Yeah, no,
like
right.
here's just a single story. And it's like, sometimes it's not even the full story. We come in halfway through the story or at the end of the story, or you just kind of get to figure out what happens, afterwards. Like you can.
That's true, but I'm going to offer a counterpoint. Now, not only does it work well in episodic format, which is great, and we know that it works that way, but it also works really well, like what you were saying, when it's a story within the universe. Now, let's take Rogue One, for example. Now,
yeah, that one
story
line of dialogue from New
that
Hope.
story in Rogue One, that story doesn't follow a character that we previously knew. If they introduce a new character and make a new story, it tends to be equally as compelling or good to watch as these episodic versions of The Mandalorian have been. Like, Solo didn't work because it's Solo, but Rogue One worked.
That's because
Worked
it's
really well.
the production issues, I feel, because that movie went through so many production issues.
Which?
Like
Solo?
Solo. Yeah, with
Hell
like,
yeah, it did.
with like multiple directors, the amount of reshoots they did.
Yeah.
Of course there was going to be issues with that, but no, it's crazy.
And I'm not saying it doesn't work. I'm just saying it very much lends itself to being that serialized format, and that's why I think Clone Wars does work so well.
It really does. It really, really does. You're so right.
I think
And the fact that it's taken so seriously. Like, people look at that and they're like, oh, it's a cartoon. But the reality is that it's so much more than a cartoon. So much more than.
I'm pretty sure Clone Wars holds the records for most on-screen death on Cartoon Network. Because if you go look up YouTube, there's like a montage of a number of clone and battle droids deaths in season 1, season 2, season 3, and they'll like do supercuts of like every time one gets gunned down, shot, stabbed, or however they go down. It's like at the end at the end of season 1, it's like there's like 156 battle droids, like two Jedi and 68 clones were killed. Like they were definitely killed on screen.
Especially with that Krill stuff, where he's just like attack the enemy head on, and people are just getting wasted. It's just like But
yeah,
I'm
Rogue One
actually
was a great movie. Go ahead.
I'm actually with Meter Maid. Like, despite all of its issues, I didn't have an issue. I saw Solo twice in theaters. Like, I thought it was big. I thought it was flashy. I liked that it was a story that didn't contain an ounce of the Force. It's one of the few stories that doesn't have the Force in it at all.
Rogue One doesn't even.
Fun fact about
Darth
Solo
Vader's
for
in
me,
it.
too.
The entire end sequence is him crushing shit.
Yeah,
and like doing all sorts of cool, like, don't choke on your admiration.
Did you?
Yeah, but that's
General.
Did you know? Fun fact with the Darth Vader hallway scene. That's the first time we see in live action the force stroke sound effects that they coined in the Clone Wars series, like used in live action. So I don't know if you watched enough Clone Wars that when somebody force strokes does that was like before they start getting choked. So they didn't start using that sound effect until Clone Wars, and Rogue One is still is the first iteration of live action to use that force choke sound effect.
Yeah, and Meter Maid also brings up, I am one with the Force is with me. See,
Right,
those were
but-
the moments that like took me out of Rogue One. Like I went into Rogue One like I guess expecting more of like, oh, we're gonna get a rebel band of really great we're gonna get a really great squadron together, like, and then it's like, oh, it's the Death Star plans instead. So I guess my expectations went into it differently. I still love Rogue One. I do love it now, but the first time I watched it, I was more disappointed with Rogue One than I was with Solo. And both movies had an insane amount of reshoots and issues.
Yeah.
I like Solo because like Ron Howard directed it, has very big ties to this, Lucas legacy, was in American Graffiti, like one of Lucas's movies. I liked I liked getting to see the Kessel Run. I thought it was goofy. I thought it was a story getting to see the gangsters. They set up Maul for whatever is gonna happen with the Obi-Wan show. Like I like Solo.
Oh, and Maul, that clip of Maul of like him talking to the bad guy. I can't remember his name from Solo, but without like doing any season spoilers, but there's you see Maul talking to a bunch of the crime bosses, like in holograms in season 7 of Clone Wars, and that guy can't remember the fucking actor's name either. The guy that played Vision, he was.
Oh god, what is his name?
Yeah, the name was on the top of my head because he's Jeffrey Chorsh from Knight's Tale and Visions shit. But that actor,
Paul Bettany.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, there's in season 7 of Clone Wars, amongst the crime bosses that Darth Maul's given like a chat to. He's like as one of the holograms, just like a nice little, oh look at him, he's just over there. Just a nice little.
He's a part of it, yeah. Tying it in.
Benadryl cucumber patch. No, Meter Maids. It was the other guy.
So to to drive the conversation to a place where we can all like focus like a laser, I think a good thing to cover would be the all of the recent announcements from Disney about the shows and movies that are coming out.
A laser that then splits into a prism of
yes, absolutely.
15 objects. And the first time my friend told me that they announced like 9 projects, I was just like and then like every time I heard I was like, oh,
really?
Yeah, and by the end it's just like, oh, I just heard 8 projects and I'm excited about each and every one of them.
Right. Absolutely. So I have this list, and we can start at the top.
Yeah.
And I think it's probably the one that everybody's most excited about. I can at least say for myself, and probably can speak for Maddie. With the most recent announcement of the addition to its cast of Hayden Christensen. The first series is the Obi-Wan Kenobi series.
Okay, so I'm gonna let me just quickly share my screen real quick so everybody can see it as well.
Y'all can hear me, by the way, right?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Welcome back.
Okay, I was making sure. I was speaking a while ago, but I didn't think it was picking up.
All right, share your screen. Share just.
Yeah. So I had to switch to just joining on the video chat on the browser because for whatever reason the app keeps crashing my webcam.
Fair enough.
Fun stuff.
Hey.
Right.
Here you go. If you pull that up, just share this quick screenshot. This is that's all the new. These are all the new things that have just been announced, like all together. So people got a nice visual for it. So it's where you want to start.
Well, I think
Obi-Wan.
that Obi-Wan is the natural place to start here.
Oh yeah. Obi-Wan.
My lord.
Right smack dab in the middle.
Exactly where he should be.
So, I mean, once again, you want to talk about retooling a show that has also been postponed for
Well, this was supposed to be a
retooling.
movie.
Well, it was originally. I mean, there were talks of a movie. Then it became a show, and then they were about to start shooting the show, and then they were worried that the story was too close to the story of the Mandalorian, with Obi-Wan taking care of a young Luke Skywalker. So they paused it again, and now they are finally starting to shoot the show after once again rewrites. So, I mean, do I think they'll do it right? But like one of the spoilers that I do know that I haven't gotten to in Clone Wars is that Obi-Wan and Darth Maul do have a showdown
That's in Rebels, not Clone
in
Wars.
Rebels. Okay,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's in Rebels.
in
Yeah.
Rebels
Yeah.
they have their showdown. So do you think that is something
Ewan
that
McGregor, Peter made.
they'll try to show on screen? I mean, they did they did set up Maul in the live action universe again.
Well,
Well-
So do you think they'll try to bring him into this, or do you think, like, what do you think?
well, I've got
One of the problems is that with the timeline that they've created for themselves, Darth Maul can't know where Obi-Wan is until the very, very end of Maul's run. He just doesn't know, according to the story that exists. So there cannot be any interaction between Obi-Wan and Maul unless it's off planet,
Right.
aside from their final confrontation.
Showdown.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
If I remember timeline wise, their showdown is like 2-3 years before the events of A New Hope.
yes.
Right.
Whereas the Obi-Wan series is like
Oh.
8 years before that. If
Alright.
I'm right.
Yeah, it's going to
so-
be like it's 4 or 5 years after Revenge of the Sith. They're saying, but again, if they do like flash forwards or like flashbacks and stuff, and I was like because I know you say you've seen the spoiler, but have you seen that scene at all, Biz, from Rebels? No. Okay, then
I haven't watched it yet.
then,
Oh.
then I'm not gonna.
No, that you
No,
can't.
no,
No.
Because
no.
again, that's a special fucking
Well, it's
jewel
a
right
whole
there.
different. This conversation will be revisited in
Yeah.
a different format
Yeah,
when we
100%.
discuss that episode. Of
Once
that
you were able to be caught up with that, then yeah. But
right, but so the other thing is that in addition to Darth Maul not having the ability to know where Kenobi is, neither can Darth Vader.
Yeah.
So Hayden Christensen coming back will mean that either we'll get to see what I'm hoping is that we'll get to see Darth Vader be a badass. Like, I want to see during that current time. It's so funny, the Imperial March just started playing in my channel as we're talking about this. I want to see like Obi-Wan on Tatooine doing Obi-Wan stuff, taking care of Luke, but at the same time I want to see flashes of like Vader in that current time. Like, what's he doing? What's he up to?
yeah,
Like, I
I'd
wanna
love
see
to
that.
see the formation of Vader's fist, from
Absolutely.
the transaction of 501st to Vader's fist.
And
know?
also like the flashbacks where we get to see Obi-Wan and Anakin in, as Jedis. Like,
Yeah,
I want all
peak
of it.
Clone Wars, which would also mean would we potentially get flashbacks to with Ahsoka in it as well? And if it's
Why
a flash, and if it's a flashback to Ahsoka, so if it's a much younger Ahsoka, I feel like I kind of feel like they'd be doing an injustice to recast Rosaria, because obviously Ashley is the original much younger Ahsoka, and it kind of makes sense that her voice would slightly change once she's like in her early
Older,
50s.
yeah.
You know, like late 40s, early 50s. But as a younger Ahsoka, I can't. So it was hard enough when we first got the news about Rosaria taking over. So it's like, wait a minute. But I settled down. But a much younger Ahsoka absolutely has to be played by Ashley Eckstein, right?
Right.
So one of the characters that I desperately hope that they bring into Mandalorian, but would makes more sense if she showed up in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show at this point, is a character called Dr. Aphra, who is like a collector of ancient weapons and stuff like that. She
What
travels
series
around.
is she from? I know.
She has her own comic. She started in the Darth Vader comic.
Okay.
And she's helped. I would love to see her show up, and like pretty much Darth Vader finds her and is just like, hey, I'm gonna use you to learn some stuff. And so in the comics, she's sent to like interrogate the coroner who like took care of Padme's body and stuff like that on Naboo. And is pretty much looking for evidence to see, what exactly happened. And through Afra, Vader is able to find out that the coroner was forced to make it look like she was pregnant, even though she wasn't. And that's when like Vader finds out that the Emperor was lying to him about him losing his kids. So that is about the time like that's all happening like in the comics. It might it's afterwards because they're also looking for Skywalker, so never mind. But who knows if they start fudging some of the timeline stuff. But I would love it if it's on one side of it it's Obi-Wan doing his thing, but on the other side it's in the comics they do a really good job of showing that Vader never really fully trusts the Emperor and like is always kind of scheming other things. And so like kind of Vader, like seeing Vader's discovery of like finding out things like, hey, the kids were born and stuff like that, I think would be significant and would be interesting to see Hayden bring that emotion back to the character.
I mean, I think that there's going to have to be some current timeline Vader stuff going on. I mean, it'll only make sense. I mean, because why wouldn't they? Especially if they have that gold mine. Like, hey, we're going to put Vader in this episode. Like, betcha people watch. You know what I mean? So, like,
yeah, exactly. Right.
I mean, that's just a given. So yeah, so high hopes for the Kenobi show and what it will do.
And I think it's been directed by either Deborah Chow or Bryce Dallas Howard. I know it's one of the female directors of Mandalorian. That's headlining the who's directing it. So is it Bryce?
Probably Bryce. It's probably Bryce. Because I don't know of the other project. I don't know of any other projects she's working on. All right. So next on the list is the Ahsoka show.
Ahsoka.
It is Deborah Chow that's doing it.
It's Deborah Chow. Yeah, Deborah Chow. Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
That's awesome.
She's really good.
Yeah, no, she Deborah Chow filmed. I think she filmed episode 3. I think of season 1 of having to give the child up. I think that was her first episode, or I might be getting her and Bryce mixed up.
So
I think Bryce was episode 3. Chow did.
Bryce did the episode she was in.
Yeah. It was like 7 and 8. I think Chow worked on. It was at least one.
Bryce
of those
did the episode on the water planet.
Yeah, like Bryce introduced
with the Mandalorians.
Yeah. With Bo-Katan.
Yeah.
So yeah. So
wait, you talking about first season or last season? Sorry.
This season right now.
I get mixed up there.
The season
Okay.
Season 2. So yeah. So
okay. Yeah, I got mixed up there.
So the Ahsoka show, which is helmed by Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, just like The Mandalorian is, set to take place in the same timeline as The Mandalorian.
Same as Rangers of the New Republic. That's being headlined by both Dave and Favreau, Dave and John, and they're I'm getting kind of hints that like those three plus Boba are going to potentially like all intertwine into like almost the Star Wars edition of the Avengers, like culminating. That's what it kind of looks like. Cause they're saying like they'll all have like overlap to each other.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and Robert Rodriguez is doing the Boba show.
Jesus.
Robert Rodriguez he films.
Just such a badass.
He's the guy that films.
The only thing.
Sorry.
Can we have the culmination of the end game being one giant massive showdown against Thrawn at the end? Like, can I have that, please?
It's gonna have to be.
It's gonna have to be.
Oh, please, God, let me have that at the end. That's all I want. It's
so incredible that, like, yeah. I mean, that's the number one thing. If I know that there's spoilers in with Thrawn Rebels. I'm getting to it. I swear. I know that Thrawn plays a significant part in the Rebels show, but like even outside
Oh,
of
yeah.
Rebels, the character of Thrawn has always been a significant character in like the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, no, totally.
Like because he was like a part of the first expanded lore. Like the Thrawn trilogy was the first like licensed Star Wars books that like ever came out that was like, okay, here's what happens after Return of the Jedi. Like it was the first time that George Lucas let
Timothy
somebody
Zahn.
else
Yeah.
by Timothy Zahn,
Yeah.
who has been brought back to write new books within the Thrawn universe, like within the new current EU, to like even help solidify him more. And you talk about characters, just like bringing back Boba Fett. There are some things that are like Star Wars legend that were just like, please, for the love of God, do this. Please do this. Please, please just confirm that Boba Fett survived the Sarlacc pit, because it's always been something
Yeah,
that
it's
Star
always
Wars
been-
fans have talked about. Like always.
I mean, isn't it? It's even in is it Parks and Rec
Well,
or The
wasn't
Offer?
there?
I know there was an
Yeah, it was-
episode.
It was Parks and Rec where Patton Oswalt does the filibuster, the famous filibuster.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there was always talk, like even in the extended universe back in the day, that the Wizard of the Sarlacc was in the Sarlacc pit, and Boba had to fight the Wizard of the Sarlacc to be released from the Sarlacc monster, which obviously is nothing in this world.
Yeah.
But it's
I
so
was
good.
always
It was
told
good
it
to see
was
him
the
back.
armor because of the Beskar, the thing couldn't it found him indigestible, and so his armor was what saved him from the Sarlacc pit. Was what I always heard growing up. I never heard about a wizard in the Sarlacc pit.
You've never heard about the Wizard of Sarlacc?
I never heard about the Wizard of Sarlacc. No.
Oh yeah, dude, that's a real thing.
Oh my gosh. A quick little thing on with Thrawn. I don't know who they would get to play him within the live action, and I really hope they pick a really good actor for
Well-
it. But for the animation though, Lars Mikkelsen, who voices him there, he did an amazing job. for the
Yeah,
character.
he's a TV character actor as well, so it wouldn't be out of.
and the brother of Mads
Hi, Brian.
Mikkelsen, for people that know that actor.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, but no. So if it's not Mickelson, who again, to be fair, they're bringing through they brought Katie Sackhoff through, to reprise her role as fucking Bo-Katan. So again, I'm thinking the only reason they did bring in Ashley Eckstein for Ahsoka is because Ahsoka is supposed to be in almost 50 years old at this point, and Ashley Eckstein, be it in her late 30s, early 40s, sounds like she's 12. So it's be hard to kind of convince you that this character's been alive since 18, 20 years before Luke was born. You know what I mean?
I think the actor that needs to play Thrawn, and hear me out here, is none other than Matt Smith.
I'll be honest. Matt Smith was my personal fan casts of for Thrawn. Like when me and Jade first were watching Rebels, we were just fan casting everybody and shit. And yeah, no, Matt Smith I think would do a pretty fucking on point job.
So
But,
go ahead.
is he too young though? I
No.
feel like Thrawn
Have you seen
would
him
be
aged in this new movie?
Yeah,
New show? Is it The Crown?
The Crown, where he's what's his name? Philip.
Philip.
Matt
Prince Philip.
Smith. The Crown.
The Crown.
That's young.
But even with that kind of demeanor,
Did
there.
they
That's
give
what
him
I'm
a
thinking.
British accent in the show?
Oh yeah.
He definitely has that look of him though. Like you put the makeup and everything on him, he definitely has that look.
That's what I think. But as far as the Ahsoka show itself goes, some of the things that would happen in that show are kind of a spoiler for what happens at the end of Rebels.
So I think we should maybe
Um,
brush past that slightly.
Well, all I'll say without too many spoilery things is this show will definitely have to focus on Ahsoka and her hunt for Thrawn, which at this point isn't a spoiler, and her search for something and somebody that she lost. Well, actually, two somebodies that she lost. I mean, where
Well,
where
one,
the hell is Sabine?
yeah, one. So one she lost, and the other she's just not telling us right now because it's
Right.
like, where is Sabine? Please give me that fucking that Sabine. I fucking love Sabine.
But as far as that show goes, it's pretty much, I feel like that show is going to be the continuation of Rebels.
Yeah, no, that's exactly how. It's like for us the continuity of what that show's going to be. That's gonna.
It's just Rebels, and
Yeah.
it's going to be her and all of the Rebels crew, everyone who's still around. I hope that means that we get to see some of those faces from the Clone Wars that we haven't seen on live action. I
Man,
mean,
if-
a little Hondo in my life wouldn't hurt.
Hondo has been rumored for season 3 of Mandalorian, and I swear to good Christ, if we get like a somebody in like a suit doing Hondo with Jim Cummings doing the voice for us, but just give me a live action Hondo, that because I know
I'm sure they would like that so that it ties into Galaxy's Edge.
well, yeah, because Hondo's
Yeah.
he's the host there as well.
Yeah. So that like bringing him into the live action would only help solidify,
The Disney
hey, go to the
connection.
park,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah, no,
we're desperate.
Well, that's the thing. He was such an like outlier of like a what should have been a 1 episode character. He was such a stellar performance. What was supposed to be just like a 1-time character sort of thing, that they fucking brought him back. They kept on bringing him back because of how like adored he was, and now they've got that full like live action like animatronic version of him. And it's like I'd absolutely love to go to Galaxy's Edge to see this shit.
We were supposed to go there this
we
last
were.
summer.
Viz and I were supposed to go, yeah. And then also, hopefully, that means that we get to see. I mean, if we're talking about bounty hunting and stuff, like, let's not forget that they could potentially bring in, a different kind of bounty hunter that we haven't seen in live action, and that would be potential return of Cad Bane.
I think hear me out now. I think Cad Bane will turn up in the Boba series, and one of the infamous
Makes
cut
sense.
one of the infamous cut episodes of season 7, when that was first cancelled, will potentially go down. Although technically that should have gone down around Rebels era, rather than like Rebels and Clone Wars era, rather than this era, because again with the whole the classic dent that Boba's got in his helmet was written in to be done by Cad Bane.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
And
Yeah. That brings a lot of questions. It's like, so was that
so unique.
canceled episode still canon, or like
No.
we don't know exactly.
No, it might become canon again at some point, but no,
Right.
as it stands, like same with the because if you watch the old redone versions, like when they were first done and stuff,
And Cad Bane's such a fucking cool character too in the series. Like
His
I
Black
love
series
him.
just came out.
did it really? That'd be dope.
Yeah.
Oh, I would love that.
Damn.
Yeah,
I need to
originally, in the first scene, you see him in like seedy like room when he's like leaning against the window and got the shutters down. They originally had him like smoking a cigarette so they could like show off all the smoke like lighting effects and stuff. But they were like, oh yeah, we're on Cartoon Network, we can't do that. So that's why they gave him a toothpick, because that's just as badass.
Western style.
Yeah. And the respirator attached to his face. It's not for him. It's not just the idea of him, to breathe out of space. It's a like anti-Jedi thing to so he can still breathe properly if he gets force choked. That's what the idea of that apparatus was for.
Interesting.
So it's like, so it builds around his like face and neck rather than over his mouth. So it like keeps the airways open and stuff. I remember seeing like some deep cut like stuff with Dave Filoni about it.
So Rangers of the New Republic, it's kind of up in the air because there's questions of is Gina what's her face gonna get fired for being a parlor girl, and so the show
I'm
might
sorry.
go in a couple
I'm sorry.
different
What
directions.
did I miss a piece of news?
She's like she has decided to switch from Twitter to Parler, and it has like I can't remember what it was, but what kind of she like posted
What's
like an
Parler?
anti-something video.
I know.
It's the Republican answer to Facebook's because everything was getting
Oh,
banned
okay.
there.
And
so they
Twitter,
have them
yeah.
and Twitter.
Okay.
So just so that you know, from
know.
Amazon right now, I just bought myself a present.
The Cad Bane Black series.
It'll be here in like 2 weeks.
Fuck you, bro.
My present is the Mandalorian dark saber. I got that pre-ordered. The Force
Oh
FX
yeah, I
one.
want that.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, since GameStop had it on for cheaper than anywhere else, I was like, I gotta nab it because they don't charge until they ship it out, so I'm good on money.
That's why you've got to get finished. Love the helmet biz. So why you've got to get finished, get through fucking Clone Wars and Rebels, dude. There's a fantastic and like 3-minute segment when the dark sabers appears in that show. It's a fantastic 3-minute segment that explains the full history of
the
how
history, yeah.
how the dark saber came to light. It's not spoilery. Obviously, it's not going to. So it's just the fact that it's about the dark saber. So, if you've been, I can always pull that up because that's not exactly.
Yeah, let's wait on that. So
Fuck it, even
we'll keep
distort
going
your
through-
voice. Fuck you.
Roger,
That
Roger.
sounds so. Please say Roger for us.
Roger.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, this is just putting the helmet on. There's no extra effects.
That is fantastic. I love it.
I love it. Okay,
but-
so yeah, you're saying what was the next one we were going to talk about?
Yeah, Rangers of the Republic.
Rangers
So
the
more
Republic,
of yeah, I guess we'll just see more of what is happening in the universe in that post Return of the Jedi time, and I guess what leads into the First Order, because we still, I mean, despite 3 movies, have no fucking idea where the fucking First Order came from.
Exactly right. They're just kind of there.
Okay, so then the next one after that will be the Andor show.
Okay, so Andor's going to be a prequel to Rogue One, focusing on Cassian from that.
Basically, what it is a prequel series to Rogue One. It follows Cassian Andor and K2SO as they find their place in the rebellion. And it looks like Alan Tudyk is in it. So Wash from the Firefly series.
There's a couple other people I think cast in that too.
Diego
already.
Luna, yeah.
So
The guy who played Andor. But yeah.
Andor. It'll be cool to see like that, like the cartoon Rebels and like kind of the Ahsoka stuff. I think Andor will be a good place to tie, the Rebels universe to this like new live action universe, right?
Yeah, no, totally. I feel that there's some potential for Rebels characters to make cameos in that series, because I know there are a couple of Rebels references throughout Rogue One, the movie as well. Like you see on a couple of occasions you see their the main ship of the main group like flying in the star battles, and one of the main characters' names gets called out over a loudspeaker, and you even see their droids for like a split minute. So I wouldn't surprise me if they start introducing some live action members of Rebels into the Cassian series as well.
They're gonna have to
Right.
anyways.
That would be great.
Mm-hmm.
And that's gonna be a great show.
Which-
Yeah, there's a trailer for that already, I think.
No, it's a kind of behind the scenes
Oh,
sort
yeah,
of like
like
what we're
the
working on sort of stuff.
yeah, it's not any actual footage. It's just some like them talking over scenes in Rogue One, talking about what they want out of the show.
Yeah,
Right.
talking about the different like trying on costumes, getting the
Yeah.
right
Yeah, I think we
aesthetic and
see like
stuff.
the sets and stuff like that.
Yeah, so
Correct.
because they were still building the sets and shit.
hmm
But
So
still, very
the next one
interesting.
up, I'm really excited about that. Yeah, it's gonna be great. And the next one up is one that I know that Maddie and myself are particularly over the moon about, and that is the Bad Batch.
Hum
Um,
in with excitement.
the Bad Batch is a group of dissident soldiers that show up in the Clone Wars. They're called upon to help on a few missions, if I'm not mistaken. They
Yeah, in
kind of
season
show up
7.
and they kind of show up and they help like when they want to, really. But when they do, they kind of go in. And the reason they're the Bad Batch is because they don't follow like the typical rules of engagement.
The
Because when
Prime
they're
Directive.
It's
well,
not
right,
just
because
that. I was-
well, they they rebelled, they left the unit, they weren't really actually soldiers anymore or something, right?
no,
Correct, yeah.
it's not just like that. I imagine that's what will happen, but
Yeah.
because they're the Bad Batch because they were they're different
Oh,
they're genetically modified different compared
right.
to the
Yeah.
regs as they call the normal clones. They call them regs because like one of them's like got enhanced like smell and like senses, so we can like track anything forever. One's like a sniper that can literally shoot you from one side of the planet essentially. The other one's the Berserker class, and then
So
there's
like
a hack
that
class as well.
already ties into like something that desperately needs to come back, which is there needs to be a video game tied to it. Like if there's not like a 4-man squad like
Yeah, right.
commando game like tied to the Bad Batch with the voice actors doing all the characters and like it's like a story in the middle of the TV show, like they are missing an opportunity, especially because the animation like from the Clone Wars could like seriously just look like the video game.
Yeah,
Just like
exactly,
imagine
right.
like the South Park game, but like a Star Wars Clone Wars era game.
Yeah, no, that would be
Man,
fantastic.
you're 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 making me want another Republic Commando, man.
Exactly. You know, like especially like it would be even better because
Uh,
like none of the Republic Commando characters had special abilities, but if like one could
Was a
smell
good
and like the
game.
other's the berserker, like you've
Yeah,
got that class system set up already,
yeah, no,
like
there
let's
really
fucking
is.
go. Like you're missing a golden opportunity for an amazing tie-in game, like for real.
Yeah, if make it like even if it's like an like old school arcade fighting style things like you ever play stuff like Fighting Force or
Just give me Republic Commando reskinned.
yeah,
Like, just give me
make
that
it
game
co-op
again.
like
Yeah,
the
it
four
was the
player
other one
co-op.
was co-op. It's hell to play by yourself. You like gotta play it with another person,
Oh, is it?
otherwise you die all the. It's like Halo, where like if you play it by yourself, everything just kills you. But like if you play with somebody else, they can like get you up. You know.
Oh, okay. So I think Republic Commando is one of the Star Wars games I actually missed. So unfortunately, I don't have any
Well,
reference
we
to it.
were just talking about getting that thing set up that lets us play games like that. That is a 4-player game, and there are 4 of us.
And that is totally workable and set upable. So that
So
and
that might be something
I
worth.
already have that game on PC too, so
I probably do as well, if I'm not lying, because I probably got it in like some sort of bundle. Yeah, I do.
I never got
nice,
I,
nice.
I I never got to finish it back in the day because I rented that game, and
Oh,
I
renting
was trying to
games,
beat
mate.
it.
That's a dead art right there.
I know. Yeah, I rented it out, and I was trying to hurry and beat it before we had to return it because you don't want to pay the late fees and
Oh
shit.
no.
And and I think I was maybe 2 missions away from the end or something like that. I was so mad I didn't get to finish that sucker.
So yeah, the end of that game is an interesting one. It feels like there should there should be like another game that follows it like immediately.
That's what I've been told, and it's unfortunate that that never happened.
But there's like, there's it does get a little repetitive, but there's some fun levels. I would imagine it's a lot better to, like I said, I bet it's a really fun game to play with 4 people as
Oh,
opposed to
definitely.
by yourself.
Most games are.
Right.
Talking about the older Star Wars games, did you ever get a chance to play Jedi Power Battles on the PlayStation 1?
Are you kidding? Like I've been disappointed
I-
by every Star Wars game. Well, not every Star Wars game, but a majority of Star Wars games since like the Nintendo era. Like I wanted a Nintendo not to play Mario, but to play those fucking
Super
Star
Star
Wars
Wars. Oh
games. No,
Christ!
it wasn't like no, not Super Star
Not
Wars.
Super Star Wars.
JVC Star Wars. Tom knows what I'm talking about, right?
Hmm.
Like this isn't even Super Star Wars where like at least it looks good. Like this is so when I finally got my we bought a Nintendo from a rummage sale, right? Because that's like the only way that we could get one. It was like people selling it after they got their Super Nintendo, right?
Yeah.
And so I remember like every time I went to my local video store, which is where I also like rented Star Wars at nauseum. Like we had a bootleg copy of Return of the Jedi, but like we would just rent Empire Strikes Back, take it back, rent A New Hope, take it back, rent Empire Strikes Back. They wouldn't let me rent Return of the Jedi, even though it was our version of it was pretty crappy. But I would then go and look at the wall of Nintendo games, and they had the box for Star Wars on Nintendo, and I just remember being like, "Oh my god!" Like I want to rent it so bad. Like I want to play it so bad. So like we were able to buy this Nintendo from this rummage sale, and we immediately go to the rental store and pick up Star Wars. And I'm so glad it was just the rental store, and I didn't waste my parents' money on that piece of shit. It's like you start off in the land speeder, and you're like looking through caves for C-3PO. And like it's
Yeah.
a lot like the original Ninja Turtles game where like you can go all the way through an area and there's just nothing there. Like it's just like an empty area because he might have spawned here.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so bad. It was
I,
so
I,
bad.
I got one worse for you. I played the Game Boy version of that,
Ugh.
which was even worse.
Yeah,
imagine.
that'll do it.
Yeah, I
You
remember the
guys
Super
ever
Star
play
Wars.
the Atari Empire Strikes Back game?
Yep, with
Where
the
you just fly around,
yeah.
you just fly around in a snow speeder and shoot at the blinking part on the AT-ATs until they
Yes.
turn yellow, then orange, then red, then eventually explode, and then you do that just over and over and over and over again.
And there was
Yes, I
like
actually
one with
remember that one.
there was like a lightsaber training one too. That was like it was the ball and like you controlled a lightsaber with the paddle.
I played ET Meter Maid. I thought that was a great game. I loved it when I was a kid.
I
Yeah,
have a copy of ET like literally 5 feet from me.
that's fantastic. I played it, but never no, never much. And Shadows of the Empire is fantastic. It's really fucking awkward to get to run on Steam properly. That's why I've not streamed it yet. I've tried
but
doing it 2 years in a row.
So can
I
we
think
do a real
the
break real quick?
GOG version is supposed to run better.
Oh, I would like to try that. So can we do like a 5-minute break real quick? I have to use
Yeah.
the little boy's room and freshen up my
Yeah,
beverage.
go ahead.
Let's do it.
All right.
We're gonna
so-
take a break from talking
Yeah.
Star Wars. Thank you everybody for hanging out with us. We do
Indeed.
appreciate it. Thanks for nerding out. All right.
We'll be back in
We'll
Be right back, guys.
5 minutes. what's up, guys? I am back. That was the wrong screen. Here's the right one. I'm back. We're just waiting for the others to return. See, these guys got other shits to do. No break only stream. Don't worry, Meter Maid. I'm here for you. And what's up to everybody? Welcome to everybody on all three of the channels. My channel, Biz and LostTimeLord. It's a pleasure to have you guys here. Thank you for joining us on this first episode, first attempt at a talk show podcast. This is the first time I've ever done this. So it's a pleasure to have you guys here. Never really been part of or attempted anything podcast chat show related, so it's a lot of fun. And again, it's Star Wars, so I personally can talk to you guys about Star Wars all day long. I mean, 9 times out of 10, we talk about Star Wars whilst we're playing other stuff. Oh, Meter Maid, you just gotta make us slightly, maybe not famous, just once we're all hitting like the high 6-7 figure yearly incomes, that's when viewers start getting like their own their own homes, and you get a brand new pickup truck with the keys underneath your chair. So we're a little ways away from that, but I'm sure we'll get there eventually. Oh god, hiccups! I apologise, guys. Yeah, this is it's the first episode of what we've coined, well, what Biz has coined, the Hollow Chronicles. Want to say, hey, Meter Maid, come on down. You have won a brand new car. Da, da, da. Gotta do a Star Wars for you, right? Come on down. Brand new used car. Even better. Even better.
The fuck are you doing in here?
Welcome back, Tom.
Hi.
I'm just talking
The
to
fuck is
Meter Maid.
going on?
Meter Maid was talking about it was like, because it's talk show and stuff, when we're going to start like giving away like keys to a brand new condo and like cars and stuff. And
soon, hopefully.
I was saying, so once like all four of us are hitting like high 6 and low 7 figure salaries like yearly, then that's when we'll start doing our big giveaways and big you get a car, and then
I'm ready for that high 6-figure salary.
exactly. And then me and Maeve were saying about you want a brand new car, and then instead of doing like a winning fanfare, I did Star Wars on a kazoo.
That's what I appreciate about you.
I couldn't help myself.
Oh, nor should you have.
Welcome back, Biz. Oh, you can't hear me still. I love that he's got the Brittany mic as well.
He's Brittany, bitch. Batch.
Batch. Oh my god. You know, this has been a lot of fun. A lot of fun so far.
All right, I'm back.
Welcome back, my dude.
Thank you all.
See JT just meandering in the background.
It's fine.
He's wandered past a couple of times, so I'm pretty sure he knows where his seat is, but he's just double checking.
You know, shit,
How
right
dare
on
you-
me?
Yeah. We could just sit in silence right now, even when we are here, old Tom.
We could all just stare menacingly into our cameras.
Yeah. I'm gonna knock down everything on this shelf, picking this thing up. Yeah.
Fucking Jeff. Fuck you guys.
Yeah.
You
Once again on
slagamuffin.
sale, $60.
Technician, thank you very much for the follow.
Yay. We were only gonna pull these out if we got subs, and we were gonna sub Saber and be like,
I'll take you out.
yeah.
Mhm.
I like you. The Tater has joined the battle.
This
It
is all
makes no
about-
sense. It's like a broadsword. Wife got you one of those? That's awesome. Which one, Meter?
Yeah, there's 3.
Gotta hold it like this though. This
See,
is
I
the
can't wait
gangster
till
way
we
to
can
hold it.
go and build our own at Star Wars Land with all the fancy electronic stuff like this.
Welcome back, JC.
Hey.
When stuff starts getting back to
I-
normal,
I
we'll
see
do
y'all
a
are-
we'll do a magical mega like multi stream cross promotion donation drive to get a ticket for Maddie to come so he can go to Disney with us.
Hell yeah.
Huh.
And we'll have a I remember watching the Disney like preview tape just for the part about the Star Wars ride. Like every time. Like
Right.
I like every time one of those VHS tapes came in the mail, like come to Disney, poor kids. And you know, I was just like, I'm just gonna watch this videotape and live vicariously through it instead. And I did actually get to go on the original Star Wars ride, the Star Tours
Nice. Yeah,
ride
me too.
in the Florida version of MG. It was called MGM Studios at that point, and it had the Indiana Jones stunt show
Yep, I remember.
and yeah, Star Tours, which was pretty amazing.
This will date me a little bit, but I actually was there and got to see in the original run of Captain EO.
Oh, the Michael Jackson
Yeah,
3D thing there.
sure did. Okay, so the next one on the list, Star Wars Visions, which is cool. It's just shorts directed
What if?
by
Yeah.
various other animated. They're all animated, so it's
It's like
various
the
animators.
Animatrix.
Yeah,
but
right,
for
kind
Star
of.
Wars.
but they are they're keeping it quiet
Yeah.
about what studio is going to be running it, because they're saying by one of the big Japanese animation studios, and
Well, I thought they
there's
were saying that it's multiple studios.
I'm not sure if they said multiple or not. I know they said it's going to be like Star Wars stories that we know and love, but in Star Wars in
they said it
like
was-
high level anime.
Yeah, they said it was different directors, so I'm
Yeah.
thinking like if they do it like Halo Legends and Animatrix, it'll probably be different studios animating it.
That's
If-
what
Yeah.
I'm thinking.
That's how they go.
So-
Different shorts
that'd
doing
be even
different
more-
pieces. Yeah.
Yeah,
Which I actually would like that. Different styles.
It'd be
like, I actually
fantastic
would
to
be
see
interested
different
in that.
people's takes on it.
yeah,
Yeah.
seeing like a Studio Ghibli episode and then seeing like a Toei animation episode.
Like, have y'all
go
ever
ahead.
seen that animation video that someone did with the TIE fighters? That was like anime style, like 80s anime style.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yes, I
yeah,
have.
yeah.
I do remember that. Yeah.
I love that video so much. Like, yo, can we have something that looks like that?
Yeah,
Like, even like-
please.
even like higher quality. Like, I love that.
So yeah, so there's-
80s and 90s anime style is some of my favorites. So I'd love to see something.
Yeah,
like
but that's
that.
going back to the likes of like Outlaw Star and Cowboy Bebop, which are some of the better
Cowboy
animes
Bebop,
out
yeah,
there. So
for sure.
Yeah.
But
Evangelion.
there's not really a whole lot that you can talk about or speculate about that one. So the next one on the list is one that is probably the closest to my heart personally. I don't know if you guys know this about me, and at least JT, who's just meeting me for the first time tonight in earnest. My personal favorite character in all of Star Warsdom has always been, even since I was a kid, the one and only pirate with an attitude, Mr. Lando Calrissian.
Lando Calrissian.
He has always been my favorite character. In fact, over
That
here
means-
behind me, I have a Lando shelf. I have several different. I have a Lando comic. I have Lando toys. I have my I actually have in there a Star Wars lunchbox, and the reason that I bought it is because it's one of the only images of Empire Strikes Back that I've ever seen that has Lando prominently featured in the upper left-hand corner of the image. So I bought the lunchbox because it has Lando on it. So Lando
beautiful.
and has always been my favorite Star Wars character. Viking, thank you for that resub. You sexy bitch. Love you. Mwah. So the Lando
Save us up.
show. Now, I'm excited about this one because, like, if it's got to be Donald Glover,
Right.
and if it is, provided that it is, like, what a cool idea for a show. Like, way better than a movie.
I actually love L3 as a character as well. So
Oh yeah,
if
yeah.
like if
His
it
boy.
yeah, if it's before
Alfred's
Solo,
the droid he has, right?
yeah, the droid,
Yeah, no,
that's like in love with him.
yeah, no, I love that. I love that kind of that like relationship they had. I think of that kind of as as a bit of a throwback as to how strange that droid is. So is it
Yeah.
in Empire that C-3PO's trying to fix a hyperdrive, and he's like, and he says about how I was like, I don't know where your ship learned how to talk, but it's got a very strange dialect or strange attitude
Oh
or
yeah, yeah,
something.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
and it's like that's a bit of a throwback. It's like, oh yeah, because that's what happens.
Mm-hmm. I don't know where your ship learned to communicate.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. And so, like, once again, tying into Solo, like, once again, great part of Solo, Donald Glover's performance as a young Lando Calrissian. Like, he had all of the charm, he had
Oh
the
yeah.
outfit, he had the fucking mustache for it.
Oh, he's
Like,
perfect. He's
he
everything I want
was
from Lando.
he was he was everything that I wanted out of Lando. Like seeing that game of Sabacc, between him and Han, that was a scene that I always wanted to
Oh
see in
yeah,
Star
definitely.
Wars, right?
Want to see
And
how he
I
got it off him.
exactly, and I was smiling that whole scene, like like getting to see like that them pull the wool over his eyes. Like it was a great moment.
Well,
Um,
the thing that was best for me was he was truly, so I've already expressed my distaste of the Solo movie. He was a bright spot in that movie,
Yeah, no,
and the
for all
main
of its
reason,
flaws,
absolutely, the
Donald
main
Glover was
reason
not
is
one.
because it's not just that Donald Glover played Donald Glover and played Lando Calrissian. He actually copied the mannerisms and a lot of the speech patterns of Billy D. Williams. And if you watch that movie and you listen to the Lando parts, you can hear Billy D in the way that Donald Glover is talking, and it is a master stroke. It's an incredible job. And I think that, go ahead.
oh no,
I was just gonna say, I think that the cool thing that they can do with this show, and the way that they could really make it like reach everyone, is because we don't know any specifics of it. Make it young Lando with Donald Glover, and show us old Lando because we know Billy D's still in on it.
See, now they've not given us any detail about this. So apart from, oh, by the way, Lando is happening as a series, so we don't
Right.
know if it's going to be animated or if it's live action. Because what I think would be an interesting premise to this Lando show would be like older Billy D around a sabacc table telling his stories, and then it flashed back to Donald Glover
Perfect.
or
Yep.
animated.
yeah,
But if
I'm
it's
in.
live action, have
Yep.
have Billy D be the narrator for it. Because let's be perfectly honest, if it's so Billy D's Lando is definitely that sort of character that would want to narrate his own funeral. He's
Mhm.
he would he's so he wants his like movie biopic to be him starring him. You know what I mean? Not like a famous person
Yeah,
starring him. You know what I
it's
mean?
true.
So it's like
there was
that would
a
be good.
there was a costume. There's a costume exhibit of Star Wars. It's called like Rebel Princess Jedi something, and it was the costumes of the movie. And Seattle had the premiere location of it. Was the premiere location, so they had a big opening. And the guests of honor for the premiere event were Billy D. Williams and Anthony Daniels.
No,
What?
that's
And
that's tasty. That's
so I actually got to meet Anthony Daniels. And I got a picture with him, which was pretty cool. But I didn't I honestly, as cool as it would have been to meet Billy D. Williams, very early on in the night, I decided that probably wasn't going to be worth it because he was very, very drunk.
Then you would have been
That would have
meeting
been the
Lando.
perfect way to meet him. You would have met Lando. Oh, Biz.
So,
And
so that's a question I did, and that's a nice little transition to something I wanted to ask the rest of you guys as well. I was like, who out of any of the cast, if and who have you actually met? So you met Anthony Daniels.
I haven't. I haven't met any of the live action actors. I've only met some like one or two of the voice actors.
Oh, see now
Mainly being
who? Because that means that could mean a lot
Uh,
more to some people here.
one of my favorite voice actors, Steve Bloom.
oh, that's
Oh my
yeah. That's not
Fucking
yeah,
Gareth
that's not
Severelius.
just Star Wars. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
I mean, cartoon goodness.
Yeah,
That's
no,
so
that's-
many great
That's
cartoons.
voice
Spike
acting
Spiegel.
royalty.
So many.
Yeah, I would have. It
Spike
had
Spiegel, yeah, Spike Spiegel.
had Renton City Retro, the retro convention that last year I met David Hayter and Cam Clark, the voices of Liquid and Solid Snake.
That's pretty dope.
Had they not had it not been canceled this year, Steve Bloom was going to be one of the Steve Bloom and Jennifer Hale
Oh
were
my
going
God.
to be the
Oh,
guests
Carabas
this year.
missed that out. God
Yeah,
damn.
I really miss that. I'm really sad that didn't happen. Who else did you meet, Jedi?
Oh gosh, what was? I swear there was another one, and I'm drawing a blank right here. I do have like autographs from other cast members from like the actual like movies and all, or some of the other voice actors from like Clone Wars, like Anakin's voice actor
You met Matt.
in Clone
Matt. Hey,
Wars.
Matt. What's his name? Matt. I knew his name literally 5 minutes.
Matt.
Matt.
You're just saying your own name.
Yeah, I know, right? I know, right?
I have met in real life while you guys are.
Matt Atlanta. Thank you, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. I couldn't remember his last name either. I'm like, wait.
Matt Atlanta plays he plays the New Republic officer in a prison heist movie in season 1 of Mandalorian.
Awesome.
Sweet.
Yeah, that's
I didn't know
actually
that.
that's Matt Atlanta, and the guy that plays the big Deveronian as a Clancy Brown.
Yeah.
He's the voice of Darth Maul's younger brother Savage from the series as well.
Clancy
Oh,
Brown,
yeah.
and he's been Lex Luthor for like 30 years at this point.
No, yeah, but wrong franchise.
Yep.
But what was crazy, like all these autographs, like of ones I didn't get to meet, the person who got them for me was actually my uncle, who was the other really big Star Wars person in my family. He's got all the collectible stuff, but he also gets he goes all kinds of different events and has like ways to get like autographs from all these different people and everything. And he sent me just a bunch of them for my birthday one year, this past few years, and
Fuck you very much, my friend.
and some of them are one of which he even gave me one that has David Prowse's autograph on there for Darth Vader.
Now
and I really need to frame that one up now, especially since what happened.
Yeah,
with him
rip David Prowse.
yeah, right. That guy
And
he's the only one I've actually met.
yeah, and one there was another cool one. One of the puppeteers for Jabba. I actually got an autograph from one of them.
Oh, that's
which I
pretty
thought
dope.
was really cool. It was the one that controls the right side of his body. Like they literally call him the right hand man because he controls the right arm. They had two Yeah, he was so big that they had two puppeteers working him. So
that's fantastic.
So you met David Prowse?
David Prowse is the only person. He's the only one I've met. I went to a sci-fi convention like a fair few years ago now. They had some of the original like standard models of C-3PO and R2 there, and I did get a picture like between the two of them, and I don't have it anymore though. I had a picture between the two of them, and it was fucking awesome. And then somebody else like went to go take a picture with them, and then like some like staff security came and was like, no, don't touch them, don't stay away from them. And then I'm just like, I had my fucking arm around C3PO and my hands on top of a R2. Glad I didn't get caught. But no, I met Dave Prowse that day, and I'm so fucking glad that I just didn't have the. So he was like stiff, like through and through. He wanted, I think it was £45 for a signature, and it was just I just didn't have that disposable income to like get a signature from him, but. Got to had a little like 5-minute conversation with him, shook his hand. It's like fucking grabbing a fucking set like an entire like bushel of bananas. It's like Jesus
Right.
Christ. So I got to meet David Prowse at least. That was that one. And my dad's got a signed photograph of Kenny Baker in his living room.
Oh, cool. R2D2.
Oh, yeah.
For those of you who don't know, who did you meet?
For
Tom?
anyone that hasn't met,
So I went to the Smithsonian and I got to meet R2D2 and C3PO. They're there, but no, the only actor that I've met in real life from Star Wars is Peter Mayhew.
Oh, what a fucking legend though.
Like if there's very few men that I've met in this world that make me feel like a short person, and boy, he certainly made me feel like a short person. Although this was near the end of his life, and he was kind of like hunchy and like real old looking. Yeah, he looked real old, but
he always looked so class though, because he had the lightsaber cane, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
He was always wandering around with that fucking lightsaber cane, and he's like, oh my god.
But yeah, this was at a they have the Star Wars like walk out here. What is it called? Walk for the Force Walk or something, and it's always out here, and it ends at like Manhattan, Newport Beach, down in Orange County, and we went there one year, and it was like this huge, just like entire like California-sized beach filled just Star Wars celebration, and it was just everything Star Wars food and like floats, and it was just crazy. It was so cool.
Yeah, that is fantastic.
Yeah. So the Lando show, I'm excited. We don't know much about it. I'm excited to get the potential to see young and old Lando together. The next one that was announced is called the Acolyte. The description that we have here says the High Republic, an era that takes place hundreds of years before the Phantom Menace, has not been explored in film or television in the Star Wars universe. It will make its much anticipated live action debut in a new series led by Leslie Headland, creator of the hit Netflix series Russian Doll. According to Disney, The Acolyte will be a mystery thriller that takes place near the end of the High Republic. Now, the one thing that I can say, and Maddie and I have discussed this previously, is that this timeline right here fits in perfectly with when Yoda would have been basically at his most powerful.
Yeah, no, because they're saying the High Republic lasted, I think, for like a 500 years, 500 years before Phantom Menace starts. So you got that
right.
So Yoda's going to be like what 400 years old.
I actually looked it up a while ago since I was ready for that part. It starts 300 years before the Battle of Yavin, and so it goes up to about 86 years before. So he'll be like close to about his middle ages, but that definitely would be when he's at his prime.
Yeah, his prime.
Much.
Exactly.
Prime Yoda.
He would like potentially before he becomes part of the council. So he's like Jedi. We get Jedi Knight Yoda rather than Jedi Master Yoda.
And what I'm thinking is that like it's because it's the Acolyte and the logo for it is it's red and there's like a lightsaber like slashed through it with like the fire spreading. I feel like we're going to be looking at the story of some Sith stuff.
Yeah, no,
this is going to be a Sith heavy story.
Well, if you look at the idea of Star Wars acolytes in the Old Republic, the acolyte is a term for Sith Padawan. So this could potentially follow that. And again, with the time it might even have something to do with either maybe his potential master or him himself about Darth Bane, because Palpatine was
Plagueis.
Yeah, because Plagueis was Darth Bane's apprentice, and then Palpatine was Plagueis' apprentice, right? And this, and it
How,
was. Sorry, Karen.
how close would this be to the KOTOR universe?
Oh, still maybe about 1,500 years, like in front of it,
in the future.
because
Okay,
Because the
gotcha.
Old
So it's
Republic is way
well,
before.
KOTOR,
okay.
KOTOR's about 3,000 years, and the Old Republic, the MMO, is about either 5 or 1,000 years after
It,
the Old Republic.
it's
300.
300.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, so
300.
that makes sense why Satil and Basta are around then. But yeah, so it's still a couple of like 1,000+ years,
Gotcha.
like two in front. But yeah,
Because I was thinking they might do something like with the Sith that it's kind of lost his memory, since none of that KOTOR stuff is like,
yeah, we're biting the
technically
bit.
canon anymore.
We're biting the bit as when they're going to bring
Well,
Revan in.
It could be Revan. Yeah,
Yeah.
but to say
Yeah.
it could be Revan. It could easily be Revan.
Yeah, just because he's
He's
part of the Old
mastered coming
Republic.
back. Well, but he's mastered coming back to life anyway. So
Exactly, but if they're going to start bringing this into, because they've now mentioned out loud both the Old Republic and Tython in the
Right.
the Mandalorian, which so Tython's the starting planet for the Jedi side, where the Jedi like a Master Temple is. So they're
You know what actually made Revan canon now? And I talked to Biz about
well,
this
it's
before.
the ship
Rise of
named
Skywalker.
Revan.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
I mean,
the like guidebook thing, like one of the
the
One of the
squadrons.
fleets.
the battalions or
Yeah.
whatever, they were named. Each one's like named after a Sith Lord, and one of them was Revan. So like that is what made it canon now. But now if we get more than that, that's what I really hope for.
So another little Easter egg that I saw and I wanted to bring up, speaking of like Sith stuff, I don't know if you guys saw this, but because the Mandalorian making of season 2 came out, people were kind of dissecting it. They showed a scene where they show the entire graffiti wall that they have in the town that you get to see in season 2. The wall that's all graffitied, like they talked about, like some of it's Jawahite, some of it's not Jawahite.
Yeah. So,
but they
like,
they show the whole
layered
wall,
it.
and right, and somebody like did the translation of one of the writings, and what it says is Jar Jar Sith.
Oh, there's some of this. I love that. I fucking love that.
Like I've always heard of that theory.
Did you look into it properly?
Yes, I have, and like it's very goofy. Like and I'll leave it at that.
It is goofy,
Well, I mean,
but it makes
he
an
was a
alarming
Sith
amount of
once.
sense.
He was a Sith once, sort of. He pretended to be.
It makes an alarming amount of sense, unfortunately.
Jar Jar Sith.
So that's thanks for the follow, buddy. But yeah, no, Acolyte. I'm really interested because we've not really, short of like a few little like 3-4 episode arcs in like Rebels and Clone Wars, we've not really seen like much of like what really exists on the dark side, like just the day to day of being apprentice and stuff. It's all really kind of like shrouded in a lot of mystery. So really interested and hope that that's what the Acolyte starts exploring, because obviously Acolyte is the Sith equivalent of of Padawan. So who knows who we might follow.
Yeah, especially if they're doing a thriller, they might be trying to like do what everybody kind of expected out of the Phantom Menace, which was this, all right, hey, all of a sudden there's this unknown force that's disrupting, that is clouding the light side. All of a sudden there is, this force that we cannot control as Jedi. Where is it coming from? Where is this phantom source of dark energy, essentially?
Yeah, no, I'm really quite intrigued as to like how they're going to go about that.
So there's 2 more on the list.
So the next one would be a droid story, and from what we've from the info I think we've seen of that, it's going to follow. It's going to follow obviously R2 and C3PO like guiding new heroes through some sort of like adventures. But
I
again,
would like so there like there's been the show Droids before, and there was the
yeah,
comic book Droids.
Yeah.
And I actually the last two episodes of Clone Wars that I actually watched were very R2D2 and C3PO centric, and it involved them like they went to communicate for one planet and ended up crashing onto another like full of, and like it was essentially Gulliver's Travels but with these tiny little guys, and then C3PO ends up knocking over R2D2
that's
and squishes their
man.
king.
I don't want to. I don't. It's like you kind of just spoiled it yourself, but that is an episode or two, like an episode arc in Clone Wars a bit later on, like
Well,
that.
like I've watched
Oh,
that. Like that
you
those
saw.
are literally the episodes that I just watched of the show.
Oh, I thought you were saying
Uh
they were in the comics. Sorry.
oh no, no, no.
No,
But yeah,
but yeah, no,
yeah.
those so much fun, Roy. I know it's a I know it is just it's just a little bit of fun, which again goes back to what you were saying about Star Wars in general. You know, Star Wars is just about having a lot of fun within this universe and the amount of different stories that are contained within it. Why not some like fucking malarkey from a couple of silly droids
Well, and like that, like it. Number one, R2D2 is a badass motherfucker.
every
Like,
time?
yeah, like easily, and like just the amount of emotion that they're able to get out of the chirps and the whistles and stuff like that, like is awesome. Whenever he spits out a lightsaber, I just
Yeah,
how can you not love when he at one point C3PO is like you better watch out, my companion knows
Welcome to
15
the home
forms
of
of
Bearded
combat, and like
Games
all of his
with your
like
host,
little
Natty
arms
P.
come out and stuff like that.
I'm
He's like,
Commander Shepard,
"Wah!"
and this is
It's
my
just like
favorite stream on Twitch
especially in
TV.
Clone Wars, they get so much emotion out of
yeah,
both of them. And
really do.
one of the few people that I met was Anthony Daniels. And
Me and mate, thank you so much for the sub. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
oh, no worries. Yay, 2 months. Oh, 2 months
Brand
streak.
new, brand new sub badge as well. Boom.
Unlocking
Woot
that new
woot!
one. But especially since even in Empire Strikes Back, there's some of the best comic relief comes from C3PO and R2D2 throughout that movie. Han putting his
Oh
hand
yeah,
over C3PO's mouth and he stops talking even though he's a droid.
yeah, exactly.
All the stuff at the end. Look what happened to me. You think you've been on an adventure. Look
Yes.
what happened to me.
Turn around, you hairy brute! Just complain the entire time. It's fantastic.
Right. But also like
Going
giving us key
backwards.
pieces of information. So like Anthony Daniels adores C3PO. Just absolutely adores everything about him. So if we had and like he's the voice of C3PO for all of Clone
Everything
Wars.
for
For, no,
everything
for
as well.
everything
Yeah.
C3PO.
And so like he like just having him back is going to be a delight. It's gonna be an absolute pleasure. Even though I went to shake his hand because like I managed to get a picture of him for free, which was awesome. I got a picture with him for free, but I went to shake his hand and he went like this. And it's like, all right, I understand. Don't want to be touching people. Like,
Germaphobe.
yeah, like I totally get it, but I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, but I got a picture of him like with R2D2, which was like really cool. Um, but yeah, so getting even if they like do half as good as stories as the ones that they tell, like even there's like the one before that where R2D2 gets captured and they're like trying to sell him because everybody knows that his memory hasn't been wiped. And
Yeah,
so he like takes over a couple like other droids on this like bounty hunter ship and stuff like that. Like if the stories for this droid show are half as good as like the droid episodes in Clone Wars, it's gonna be just great slapsticky. They're
yeah,
almost the odd couple of the
yeah. No,
Star Wars
definitely.
universe, right? Like I'm just ready, as long as they don't play too much on like one of the things that kind of got a little weary in one of the episodes is like C3PO just being a little too dense. Like, look what I've done, blah blah blah, and C3 and R2D2 being like, no, like this was me. But even that, like, I will take with a grain of salt just because it's so I'll just watch like R2D2, like their dichotomy like is just so perfect that they have such great chemistry that I'll watch them.
Yeah, no, every time, every time. I'll tell you one thing, you will be in for a treat actually when you're watching Rebels. Their droid C110P Chopper. Chopper is fucking fantastic. He's probably so he's
I've seen some memes about Chopper and his kill count.
oh, yeah, no,
So yeah,
he's right up he's right up there like next to R2 in my opinion. If he came out like 20 years earlier, you know, there would be much more in depth and like vile arguments between who'd be the better droid, R2 or Chopper. So yeah, I agree that obviously R2 best droid, but if give Chopper like a few more years and you know, it's like it will be right up there. He's so funny, so relatable, and again, it's like kind of with like R2 and stuff. You start kind of like understanding they're kind of like the
the
beeps.
chirps, yeah.
You know, you start like kind of like reading into that a little bit. You know, and like see Chopper is like quite prominent with a lot of that stuff as well. You know,
Well, I
it's-
mean, a lot of people had a lot of emotions at the end of the last episode of season 2 of Mandalorian, and obviously I shared in those emotions. But I think one of the biggest points for me, the biggest things of emotion, was that the child or Grogu was very very apprehensive and remained apprehensive until
R2.
R2D2 drops out and is like,
Yeah.
R2's there, and then Grogu's all of a sudden like, oh, what's this?
Yeah,
And then
no.
like R2's doing like R2 stuff, and Grogu's like, okay, this thing's
Okay, I'm
all right.
cool.
And
We're cool.
and
We
is
can
it
go.
like did I
So-
mean did Grogu sense good in
Yeah.
R2, or was it just he was
Dude,
fascinated by the droid?
R2's totally a Force user too. Like, there's no way that droid could have survived that. R2 is sentient. R2 is a living thing, and R2 is I truly believe is the first droid to actually be able to harness the power of the Force, which is why like he kind of can sense him, and like he comes back to life in the Force Awakens too, when he like kind of can sense
Yeah,
that
yeah.
Force energy is around. Like, yeah, like, so the X-wing showing up in Luke Skywalker, like, honestly didn't hit me the way that like it hit you, Tom. Like, I
No,
was like,
I was
I
fucked up,
was
yeah.
like, I was all right about it. Like, I wanted to see like a different Jedi show up. Like, I was expecting like a Mace Windu to show up. Like,
I'm glad that Mace didn't.
Mace
I'm
or
so glad Mace didn't
see,
show
I
up.
I kind of no, that's C3PO technician that was programmed by a Jedi. I was kind of maybe expecting like because we recently had Thrawn as a
Yeah.
that's the cloned Jedi from the Thrawn books.
oh yeah,
Callus,
Luke.
There's a cloned Jedi from there.
Mm-hmm.
But then there was obviously people thinking maybe
Oh, Seaboth.
Ezra or Cal
Oh my
Kestis.
God.
was it?
Joris, yeah, or Cal
Oh,
Kestis.
Cal Kestis would have been good because that
Yeah.
actor's
Yeah.
still around. So
And in my chat, people are saying that there's a theory that R2 may
Yeah.
have been the one who saved Grogu from the Jedi Temple.
Yeah, no, that
oh,
was
there
also.
you go.
I was actually going to say that. It's like so you see, he was apprehensive until we saw R2,
Yeah.
which
Right.
which may lean into the idea that it's like, oh, so this is somebody I recognize,
Yeah.
because like R2 would have, like, in the continuity, he would have turned up to the temple alongside
With Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
well,
All the time. Yeah, he
well,
would have been
not-
around there.
He would have been there with
Oh, when Anakin first showed up.
when Anakin goes like
right. To
goes
go slaughter
fucking
the
Order
younglings.
66 style, so
Mhm.
maybe then like R2 then zipped off. So okay, yeah, there's nothing, I can't stop him. I know that this is going down, so I'll go do what I can, sort
Right.
of thing, and then
Yeah, that's why I say that the younglings really would have loved
they
the
would have
Mandalorian.
loved.
They would have
The
loved that show.
younglings would have loved this, but
Back to my original point.
Yeah.
The moment R2 showed up was when it hit me, and I was just
Yeah.
like, damn. Like, because like the CGI honestly took me, if they would have just kept the hood on and been like, come with me, young one, and he just kind of stays that like, are you a Jedi, and he like doesn't say anything, and he's just like, come with me, young one. Like, I would have liked it if they would have just kept him shrouded in a little bit more mystery, because that CGI just like it's just as bad as Jabba the Hutt in A New Hope for me. Honestly, like it yeah, it takes me out of it took me out of the moment, but like the moment R2D2 shows up and it's like it just like chirping like and just going crazy at like my interpretation of that was like, holy fucking shit, dude, like look
Yeah,
at
right.
it's like that fucking Yoda, dude, like look at him, he's like Yoda again, man.
It's like,
Like
it's like, you gonna hit me with a stick, you little bastard? What's a stick? I don't
'cause,
have a
like,
stick. I want a ball. I can make balls. I've got things that are shiny. Come with us. Fuck
see,
yeah.
so here's my one rewrite of that ending too. Is right before the elevator door closes, the Mandalorian pulls out the ball and he's like, "Hey, kid," and the kid force grabs the ball to his hand and the
Yeah.
elevator
Yeah.
door shuts. And it's just like, oh, he's got that like one little thing though. He's got the one like, remember me,
You,
like
at some point he'll give him that, and that will get built into like the hilt of his lightsaber. That's
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what that's got to be. I think it's like my issue with this, like, because they went with the deep fake idea rather than so I thought it'd been a smarter move to go with the de-aging process they use for Sam Jackson in Captain Marvel.
Endgame. Or Captain Marvel. Yeah. Sorry,
in,
Captain
in,
Marvel.
in Captain Marvel. Because I feel like that was
Probably a budget thing.
yeah, no, but
Yeah.
at the same time, but it's like they're they're part of Disney, you know.
I
You
would
know
have
what I
even
mean?
like preferred just get somebody that looks like him.
Or
Like
have you seen
I'll
the
believe that
Sebastian
more.
Stan? Have you seen the Sebastian Stan like lookalike
I've seen
images?
this side by side.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see, like if he looks that close, like yeah, cast Stan as a younger Luke Skywalker. Like
There you go.
I'll take. Yeah, like look at that.
That's Luke on the
Like
left. For those that didn't
I
notice.
don't know at what point we decided that we just can't recast these characters. Like why we can't have somebody play a younger version of them at this point. Um, like I'm fine with that. Am I super fucking happy that they brought like Mark Hamill back and we like got to see him tear ass
Yeah,
through a hallway of dark troopers? Like,
of
yeah.
course,
Yeah,
Mhm.
of
like
course.
definitely that
Mhm.
was fucking satisfying.
Yeah, it
But
was.
like it like if anything, it just like the one scene where we get to see Leia train, it makes me think of like all the what might have beens if we would have like got to see like have any of you ever read like the Dark Empire comics where like the cloned Empire comes back and starts training Luke and Leia's like, hold up, I will save you. And like Leia goes with like the strength of her unborn children to save Luke
Yeah,
from
yeah.
the dark side. Like I would still just love to see Leia at like the height of her power.
Yeah,
Like
right.
I always wanted to, because if there's one scene that people I love seeing how powerful she is in The Last Jedi, that she can survive being in space for a second, because she should have been that powerful. We should have seen how powerful she could get in the Force, even if she chose not to particularly use it. Like just because of her bloodline, she should have had that power, right? And I just like seeing that scene was just like, man, imagine if it was the twins. Like imagine if it
Yeah,
was both Luke and Leia tearing ass
yeah.
down
No,
that
that shit would have
hallway.
been fucking
Like
dope.
that's what I want to like. I would still just love to see Leia tearing some shit up,
Did you
Yeah, but
ever
this is so recently after Jedi that Leia's not doing that.
Right.
She's got the Republic to build at this point. Like Luke is still wearing the black and he's got the green saber. He's with R2 at this point. We're talking what, like 4 years after Jedi, maybe
Yeah, 5 or
So
3.
like
6, I think max.
yeah, what's happening to Leia in all of the canon stuff is that she's dealing with trying to reform the Senate, and the people that are like in charge of the Senate decide to use the fact, like, because at this point nobody knows that Darth Vader is her father, and it comes out that
Yeah,
Darth
yeah.
Vader is her father,
And that's
and
why she
that like
starts the
ruins her
resistance.
relation. Yeah, and that's why she has to go on to start the resistance, is because she's then kicked out of the Senate, which is then taken over with people that just put the First Order people back into power.
I see.
So yeah, unfortunately, like they never really go into like it other than like she decided not to train because she had like a vision or something like that.
Hmm.
But yeah, I still would like to see her kicking ass at some
Did you
point.
Well, I remember reading stories that she had a pink saber and she was trained. That's all Zahn stuff, but like she had the Jedi twins, and she was training with Luke, and she had a pink saber. Like that
did
was
you
one of the
ever
Zahn books.
did you ever play the Force Unleashed games? Because
Yeah.
Oh
there's
yeah.
one of the DLCs in Force Unleashed 2. One of the DLC missions where you go. I was like, because it's a bunch of DLCs to take out some of the originals, and one of the later missions in those DLCs is you go out to go kill Leia, and she's got a yellow blade lightsaber, and you have this huge fucking battle. She's one of the tougher battles in Force Unleashed 2. But it's probably the only actual time, I think, short of like that Knights of whatever that fighting game was. Sure,
Terraskasi?
Tarakashi,
which was
yeah.
also made canon by Solo.
But short of that
And has
game, that was
a
a good
character,
version of
a
that.
That can't
Tusken
be
Raider named Hor in it.
It does.
Hoar. Yeah.
Can't be made canon because it has Mara Jade.
Oh my god, yeah. So Mara Jade is also a character in the Thrawn trilogy, and she is the hand of the Emperor. And she's like she's originally sets out to kill Luke Skywalker and eventually marries Luke Skywalker.
And trains with him.
Yeah.
She's the first Grey Jedi, right? First true Grey. Isn't
I'm
Mara
not
Jade
sure.
first true Grey?
Yeah,
Pretty sure Mara Jade's first true Grey.
because she was originally recruited by Thrawn.
Unless we're talking about, well, I guess that would be Revan.
No, she worked for the Emperor. She was the hand of the Emperor before the Emperor even died. But she still worked underneath Thrawn. But like during the Thrawn stuff, because Thrawn is also going after Luke Skywalker. She actually has a voice in her head saying you will kill Luke Skywalker. It's like the last words that the Emperor said to her was that your mission is to kill Luke Skywalker now. But she was like pretty much she was essentially another secret apprentice of the Emperor that did like the Emperor's wet work and stuff like that. So
Another one of his
are
busy bodies.
the Nogri are in Clone Wars, right? The race of assassins, do they show up in Clone Wars? They're called Nogri.
No,
Rebels.
I think they're I think they are depicted in one particular episode, but they're never named. There's like there is
Okay.
a kind of like a almost like assassin style group of people, which is again, I don't know how far you are, but it's a one of
They
the
appear in Rebels in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 episodes.
Oh, awesome! I can't wait.
Yeah.
Because
then it may
they're
not be
also
the race
from
I'm thinking of then. Okay.
the Timothy Zahn books, and like the way that they're depicted in the Zahn books is like the Emperor pretty much comes in and takes over their planet, and like they're essentially like Monsantoing them, where like they destroy all their crops and then sell them like imperial crops that like only grow for a season, so they have to keep buying them from the Imperials to like just keep their basic way of life. And because they were like sworn to like protect Darth Vader, and like they end up like protecting Leia
okay.
at one point, they're super dope.
Oh, Rook. Okay, yeah. You're thinking about his Franz buddy Rook, right? He's that race.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the Thrawn books,
Yeah.
Nogri is actually the one that kills Thrawn.
Yes.
So like
I knew that much about the books.
So Rogue Squad, what information do you have on Rogue Squadron there, Time Lord?
Rogue Squadron. I can't remember who's directing it. I can't
It's
remember her name.
oh god, it's Patty
Yeah.
fucking Jenkins. Man.
So is it a show or is it a movie?
It's a movie.
It's a movie.
Okay.
So here's the thing. The big deal is that she's the first woman to direct a film in the Star Wars franchise.
Before I watched Wonder Woman 84, this was like, yeah, I can't wait. This is gonna be great. Like, she did such a great job with Wonder Woman. Cool. But after seeing Wonder Woman 1984, I am incredibly nervous
Yeah.
for this project now.
I, so I've kind of
I'm,
disappointed that because I was pretty. I thought the first Wonder Woman movie was actually really fucking good. I was like
Yeah, I did
pleasantly
too.
surprised by that. So
Same.
so I'm kind of
Good action, you
kind of
know?
kind of bummed that 84's been so poorly received.
Oh, dude, no, it's an absolute film abomination.
Yeah,
Biz
like
and I spent like 2 hours the other night
Yeah, no, you were
just
saying.
tearing
dissecting,
this movie
yeah.
apart.
Yeah, every aspect of it. So like
I'm with
it's
you too.
it's like really weird, like, you know, because I don't know how somebody reverts as a filmmaker, but like all of like yeah, all of the like movie tropes and like ham-fisted acting that you would like expect out of it felt like such an early 2000s action movie in
Well,
all the wrong ways.
let's just assume that in this particular instance for this movie, there were pressures outside of her control, and there were things that she had no, way of mitigating that made the movie the disaster that it is, and not
Hmm?
assume that it's because she's not a good director. She's proven herself time and again, and the original, like you said, the first Wonder Woman movie is a fantastic movie. Um, on its own, just on its own merit. It's pretty formulaic. I mean, it follows
Yeah.
the superhero movie formula
Oh,
almost
it's
to a
not.
T.
It's not groundbreaking by any means,
No,
but
Well,
no,
and
but it's
so everything that she's directed before Wonder Woman really is all TV stuff as well. You know, so she's like, yeah, she's still early on, sophomore. We can call it a sophomore slump as well. Like
sure.
that script clearly had some issues like going on with it, and so that, but you know, she's also responsible for that. But you know, honestly, I would prefer someone like a Catherine Bigelow, who was the director of like Point Break. She
Hmm.
also helped write like most of James Cameron stuff. Like if we want to talk like who would be a great first female director to be brought on to do like a great action movie, like Catherine Bigelow's won Oscars now for action movies practically. Like she did Hurt Locker, you know, like she's an
Hmm.
Oscar winner. And like, yeah, like I feel like with Patty Jenkins, it's almost like a Ryan Johnson situation where like, oh yeah, people really liked his other stuff, but he's also kind of made some questionable stuff.
questionable.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
and so like it was based on the strength of like like she literally got it based on the strength of one project and the promise that this next one was going to be good. And now like it's like we'll see, but like I'm definitely interested. I will, you know, give it up to, like I said, that kind of sophomore slump kind of thing. Like,
Sure.
you know, you can't knock them all out of the park. There were clearly a wide variety of issues, but like at the core of the directing of that movie, there were very few scenes where even with the material did I enjoy the direction that anybody was given. But that, like you said, that is a myriad of things. Some of those actors, I don't think, just did a particularly good job either. Some of them did a phenomenal job with what they were given. Others,
Pedro.
yeah, others just boop,
Yeah.
hello, yeah, like um so I am cautiously optimistic. Like I said, I thought Rogue One was gonna be more of a like I want to see a ragtag team. You know, my favorite thing about the Thrawn books is how they like go into almost hyper detail about the space battles, you know, because
Hmm.
Thrawn is such a master tactician that it's like
Yeah.
really about where the Star Destroyers are set up versus where the TIE fighters are and the X-Wings, and you know, all this,
Yeah. No.
you know,
So
ship
so
jumps
into
in.
it.
Yeah. Right. You know, it's like reading like a Master and Commander novel almost, you know, like
Hmm.
with how it's about the positioning more than anything else. And like I want Top Gun in space. Like I
Yeah.
want to see a movie
That's what she
that
said
does.
in her little, because they did put out like one of those like meeting the director videos, and she spoke about wanting to. It's like her aim for this is wanting to do Top Gun in space essentially. That's
So
That's
You know,
like aspirations to it, but I've not seen anything. I've not seen the Wonder Woman, so I've not got the apprehension about it right now. But hearing you
You
guys,
should. You should.
hearing you guys talking
Yeah.
about the absolute dumpster fire that was
watch
Wonder
it so
Woman.
you can properly I will never
Yeah.
tell anybody to not watch a movie, and if you find joy in it, like that's cool. Like I like crappy movies too, but I will I will admit that I like some shit, right? You know, like
Oh yeah,
but but it's just like what you know, there I've seen a lot of people like on my Facebook you know, that liked Wonder Woman 84 for whatever reason. It's like if you can find love in this lifeless pile, like whatever. And like, you know, hearing her say Top Gun in space, like when I say I want Top Gun in space, like what I want is just like cool scenes of fighter jets and stuff like that. What she probably means is like we're gonna have a scene where like somebody makes breakfast on somebody's like navel and shit. Like I don't want any of that. Like I want straight up like I want dog fights in space. You know, I
Mhm.
just want a movie that barely like Mad Max. You know, like
Whoa.
it doesn't take it. We don't get out of the cars. We don't get out of the vehicles for like half of the fucking movie, right?
Mm-hmm. Lynch Lord, 42 months subs.
Whoa,
Holy crap.
it's a long boy
Lynch Lord,
right
what's
there.
up, you sexy,
that's a
sexy
great
beast?
number.
I like 42.
That's a
It's the
good.
answer to just about everything. What's
Hell
up,
yeah.
Lynch? How you doing? How are you now? So glad to see you. Thank you, buddy. Look at that. Look at all those accolades in front of his
A
name.
little bit Lynchburg lemonade.
hmm
Tired. I'm so glad you're here, bud. We're just talking Star Wars with a couple of awesome folks.
Hi, we're the folks.
But yeah, me, I feel the same worry about the Rogue Squadron movie because for me, I like Rogue Squadron. The video games were some of my favorite Star Wars games, and
What
still are
on
today.
the 64?
Uh,
Tasty.
Oh, yeah.
and then I used to read like the old, expanded universe novels. I think I've got like one or two of the comics, and it's like I used to enjoy those stories like all the time. I'm like, please incorporate some of the stuff within those. Like it doesn't have to be like the exact story or anything like that, but like incorporate a lot of the elements in that into the movie, and I think it ended up being great.
Yeah, like this is the first time that, you know, let's not make it like a human drama, right? Like instead, let's make it about like the ships. You know, like let's really learn like how X-Wings and TIE fighters operate. Like let's see both sides of like what goes into the planning of, you know, one of my favorite scenes in A New Hope is like them planning for the Death Star, you know, approach. Like, you know, these tiny fighters against the Star Destroyer with like the 3D map that comes up
Yeah,
and like
man.
the mission, like just give me this movie just needs to be like an extended version of the last 20 minutes of A New Hope, right? You know,
Yeah,
like
just
just give
make it
me
as like ridiculously detailed. Give me all the fucking ship detail and all the backstory to the fighters and everything like that. I totally agree. Just need all of that information. You know,
yeah,
that's what it should be
let
about, right? Because it's about just if you're just doing it about like Top Gun in space, you want to know about those fighters. That's why we're here. You know,
Yeah, we want to know why that guy's called Maverick. We want to know why that guy, you know, Star Wars already, you know, especially with Clone Wars, has a great legacy for nicknames now, like for the
yeah,
characters and stuff like that, especially with the clones. Like, yeah, like let's see people earn their nicknames like by doing these heroic acts. Let's see like the battles of Tanab and stuff like that because we so very rarely get to see the cool space battles outside of like, hey, take down the shields and destroy the big death sphere. You know, like how many times have we seen that as like our one space battle is like take down the thing that has like shields? You
yeah,
know,
Yeah.
like
give me
it's that every time. Yeah.
give me
It harkens. Go ahead.
So I was just gonna say, so give me the longest day, but it's Star Wars, you know. Give me that like 3 hour epic of like proper nitty gritty about the soldiers, about this battle that's gonna take like make me feel like it's taken like this long for this
Yeah.
battle to happen. Not just these fights shouldn't happen in an afternoon. You know, it's like,
Exactly.
you know, it's
Yeah.
like you're fighting for an entire fucking planet. You know, it's like it took us like 5-6 years to like find like a few hundred miles of space on enemy territory. You know, just to like stop our wars. So was it any different? You know, up in the stars. You know, so it's, you know what I mean. So give us that, show us the attrition in Star Wars war. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
give us that
Show.
nitty gritty.
Show us like that like show us like them being outmanned and like outgunned at some points, but being able to do it by that sheer skill alone, right? Like, oh,
It's like
there's
one in a
so many
million
great routes
chance.
that it could take. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So
Take it
there's
back to a
definitely a lot of hope
time,
for it.
and there could be a time when you cared about whose ass it was and why it was farting.
And why I was farting.
Mhm.
So that brings us
the
technically
only
to
other,
our last show, yeah.
yeah, the Book of Boba Fett.
Which, I mean, so it's interesting to see that because JT sent me the clip of them saying essentially the Mandalorian is on pause. We're gonna get the full book of Boba Fett, and then season 3 of the Mandalorian is going into development, or they're gonna be shooting it. But like essentially we're gonna be taking a break from the Mandalorian's character, and we're going to be more focusing on Boba Fett. Like next December, we're not getting another season of the Mandalorian. We're just getting the Book of Boba Fett.
Really?
We don't know
That's
when.
changed.
No, they're saying that they're separate shows.
Well, yeah,
They're
they're separate,
Yeah.
and that's what. And so, but the third season of the Mandalorian, they said we were going to get the third season of the Mandalorian next December. What we're really getting is the Book of Boba Fett. We're not getting both, I don't think.
I'm pretty sure we're
Okay,
getting
I
both.
thought from what I thought I saw that they
From
were
what I saw,
that
we're getting both.
Boba will be launching early December, and then closer to Christmas.
It's
Mando.
both?
Maybe Mando.
Okay.
It's both. It's
Yeah, I
definitely
think-
both.
Yeah, it's
Well, then
it's
that's
both
even
from what I
crazier.
read.
Like we're just
Oh, we're so
getting
spoiled.
fucking spoiled.
So
Yeah.
spoiled, right? Just again, it's like what a fucking time to be a Star Wars fan. You know?
You know, so
wrong.
like the way that you guys freaked, I guess on the dark side to your light side, like the way that you guys freaked out, for the X-wing showing up
Yep.
was how I lost my mind the moment Slave One
Oh,
broke through the
oh,
atmosphere.
Oh, so we were the same exact
yeah.
way with
God.
Slave. Oh no, absolutely.
Oh,
Yes,
Yeah.
you're
God.
100%
So
right.
when the seismic charge, I was like, fucking, I was up here, I was like fucking leaning forward, just like,
Yeah.
yeah, I can see he's gonna release
One,
it.
one,
It's the biggest childish moment in such a long time. Just like I'm waiting for that.
One of the-
I mean, as great as that was, it was
One of
even
the
greater
best
when he
sound
stepped
effects in
out of the fucking out of the ship in dad bod fucking boba armor.
Oh,
That was even better.
Well, and they like props to them on trolling us so hard with that first episode.
Right.
Because like
conf-
they teased like I remember freaking out even with JT the first season with the death of Fennec and just the boots.
oh, just
like
just those fucking.
Yeah,
what do you call them?
like the jangle, like
Yeah.
and like so back then it was just like are they actually gonna bring him back? Like are they gonna bring back Boba Fett? And it's just like and I was like at the end of season 1 I was just like, oh, I thought that was gonna be like the big reveal at the end. It was like, oh, he's back. And so it's just
No,
like, come
just the
on.
motherfucking dark saber. That's
Yeah,
all.
just the dark saber. But they start off the second season with none other than like the ranger himself, the marshal himself, Timothy Oliphant. Like
Cobb fucking Vanth.
yeah, Cobb Vanth, like walking in that armor, like 100% they got like they trolled me so hard.
Yeah.
I was just like, what the fuck? Like I can't believe it. Like I can't believe they did him so dirty. Like they
Mhm.
did Boba so dirty. Like they got this pretty boy like hanging out in his armor, and then he like hits him in the back and the jetpack misfires, and I'm like, this is the greatest fucking shit like I've ever seen.
Yep.
Like, oh my god,
Yeah.
like I love this. Like, it's I can't remember what movie that episode is essentially a parody of, but like
Return of the
they
Jedi.
full out.
Or
Well, no, that whole
well,
episode
you mean
is
just the hit in the
so the
was
way
it
that
June?
Hidden June.
Was it Dune or
Dune.
June? Dune, sorry.
I'm
Go.
not sure.
Dune.
Um,
Frank
Doom.
Herbert. Dune.
Oh no, it's
Dune.
not Dune.
I'm just thinking
There's a
because the
Japanese movie
space
where
thing.
it's like, um, it's like literally where like a bunch of villagers that wouldn't normally linked up to like kill a tiger or something like that outside of their village. It's a bunch of people getting together that normally wouldn't because they like need to kill something.
Oh,
They
fair.
do this a couple times where like because A New Hope is essentially a Kurosawa movie called A Hidden Fortress.
Yes.
They like there's a couple episodes where same the episode in the first season where they train the villagers in the weapons to fight off the bandits is Seven Samurai. Essentially like they do different Japanese style movies, and so
It also parodies an early episode of season 1 or 2 of Clone Wars because Anakin and Ahsoka train a bunch of villagers to defend their village
yeah
in Clone Wars as well.
it's almost the same exact plot from Seven Samurai as well. And they have to get together with the the bandits or whatever. It's very much more on the nose. But yeah, that's like the start of Filoni really trying to use the same influences that Lucas had to
Yeah.
bring Star Wars back to its roots, and it does a great job. Those episodes are great. Showing the complex relationships of the characters in the universes and stuff like that.
Yeah, because both Dave and John were talking about how it's like so obviously they want to stick true to the Star Wars like motive and feel as much as they're humanly possible, but they want to be inspired by not being inspired by earlier Star Wars. They want to be inspired by what inspired Star Wars, and so
Exactly.
that's why we get a lot of the Terrazama. I can't say the fucking
Kurosawa.
Kurosawa. Thank you.
Kurosawa, yeah.
But that's why we get so much like in reference to the Kurosawa movies and stuff like that. And another little fun fact with about Favreau and the Darksaber and everything. The Darksaber was first featured in an episode of Clone Wars in which Jon Favreau voiced a Vizsla.
Yeah,
I did not know that. I knew that it was in I've seen it in Clone Wars, obviously, but I didn't know Jon Favreau had a piece
that's
in it.
that was Favreau who voices the episode where Obi goes to meet
To
with his
Mandalore, yeah.
with his old squeeze, and then he goes checks out the mines and stuff. That episode, Jon Favreau's the guy that pulls out the Darksaber.
Oh, that's amazing.
He plays that character, and it's just kind of crazy. It's like if you go back, there's videos of Jon Favreau talking about how fascinated he is by Mandalorian's like story and lore back in 2007, 2008. And it's just like a decade and a half later.
Fire, thank you for the host.
A decade and a half later, here he is, like again, fronting it.
Yeah, and like it's funny because in that making of season 2, there's a scene where you see Favreau and Katie Sackhoff together, and they're like, "Oh my God, we filmed so many scenes together, but this is the first time we'll be working together in person."
Yeah, because they're
it's
both.
Like, oh yeah, because they did all the voices for the cartoon stuff.
That's wild.
Right.
But I mean, so whatever the Book of Boba Fett is going to be, like, I mean, it already started off perfect.
I mean,
right?
Sopranos in space or something, right?
I have no like he could be getting the gang back together and like
You see Dengar?
Please give me Dengar. Give us Dengar.
IG-88.
Yeah, give us another IG unit like kicking ass. Oh, Purple Fox, thank you for the bits. One day you will watch Star Wars and it will be glorious. I'm sure this all makes very little sense to you right now.
Right, but just look how like happy and enthused we are by these stupid little stories. Just seeing like the excitement, like the childlike excitement in 4 grown ass guys. Surely that should be if that can't convince you, as like these big like dour looking motherfuckers. If we just look at the camera, look, Star Wars, I will love me some Star Wars.
Yeah,
you know. That's exactly it, Purple Fox.
Because like I mean, yeah, seeing Slave 1 come back. So I called it that the Razor Crest was going to get blown up because every toy has come with an escape pod on it, and even though they didn't use the escape pod, I was just like, why would they design that into it if they were like not designing it to explode? Like if that wasn't like an option at one point that they were thinking about. And so sure enough, seeing that thing just get um
Yeah, that's fair.
what was crazy. But my biggest hope for both Boba Fett, Book of Boba Fett, and Mandalorian season 3 now, going back to this character, is like I said, bringing in this character Dr. Aphra. Like Dr. Aphra has become like one of my most favorite characters in the Star Wars universe just from the comic books alone. Like she started in the Darth Vader comics, and then she has spun off into her own stuff. You want to talk about dope? So number one, like she's an artifact hunter. So she ended up with like the silver ship that like they escaped from Naboo from,
Oh,
like in the
okay,
first
yeah.
place. She like sold like a bunch of like destroyer droids and like battle droids to people at one point. She ends up with a holocron of a Sith that like ends up taking over her ship at one point. Um, which is pretty nuts. But she is an expert on ancient artifacts. And she has two droids that are called BT and 000 that are essentially like the evil versions of R2D2 and C3PO. Like it's a black protocol droid, but he's
I
not a
know,
protocol droid.
I
He's
know
an
that.
assassin droid.
I've known 000. I've seen the dark sides C3PO like
Yeah.
memes and stuff. But
And
he's
so
a protocol essentially.
yeah, he's a protocol droid, but has like fingers that like have truth serum in them and poison in them, and like he really loves interrogating and like torturing people. And so
Some
at one
HK vibes right there.
so
Right.
they like actually end up winning their freedom from Aphra because like Darth Vader is the only one that can reactivate them safely with and like put the proper protocols in place to be like, hey, don't kill this person. Like this person is your like is your master. Right. And so like the entire time that they're like rolling around with Aphra, they're like, we'll do this, but just so you know, like we will kill you the first chance we get. And so at one point, these two droids are like, all right, we're going to kill everybody on this ship, including you, unless you grant us our freedom. And she's like, all right, fine, you get you get to go, but like you have to get off my fucking ship. And they're like, all right. And they leave with like one of these other crime bosses, and they like end up making him his bitch. Right. Like, and so these two droids like end up becoming major crime bosses within the Star Wars universe.
You see,
And like,
that's something you just want to see. Yeah, right
right.
there.
And so, like, I would love to see Boba interacting with these two droids as like crime bosses now, like because Boba's trying to make his way like up in the crime boss world, right? Because he's like clearly like if he's taking over Jabba's
He's
palace,
taking
he
over the
like
Hut Cartel. That's what he's after.
yeah, he wants to be a boss. So like I would love to see him dealing with these two characters as bosses. And it would also tie in Aphra really nicely because like clearly season 3 of Mandalorian is going to have to deal with ancient weapons a little bit more and the legacy and the history of the Darksaber, and what
Yeah,
better
exactly.
character to talk about ancient weapons with than this Aphra character.
See, saying that, one big thing that people were talking about a potential character to join season 3 of Mandalorian would be a guy called Fen Rao, who gives when the it's, I said about the it's like a 3 minute like video of talking about the full history of it. But Fen Rao is alongside Katie Sackhoff, who played Bo-Katan, and Fen Rao's the only he's one of the only other like characters that were like modeled after the voice actor. So it's like
Oh, cool.
so he it's like a potential character that could turn up, who gave like the full personal history of like where the Darksaber came from in Rebels and stuff. So where yeah, fucking I want to see space female space version of Indiana Jones with the fucking psychotic droids. That sounds amazing. But
Yeah.
Right.
but as I it kind of depends on how much they're going to start bringing in through the other different like canons and other different like areas and stuff. I can see Fen Rao again. He's a Mandalorian. He's a leader of the Protectors, which you'll meet properly. Well, you do meet them in Clone Wars, but you'll meet them properly in Rebels. And Fen Rao, he's modded after his actual actor. So alongside Katie Sackhoff, they're both TV actors. So there's another one of those strong. We should really get the actual voice for this guy to come back.
It would be silly for them not to utilize people like that, like tying in the animated universe to the real universe like that.
Exactly.
Would be amazing. Um, so I actually met my best friend because he knew more about a book called Tales of the Bounty Hunters. And in that book, Boba Fett is actually a man named Jaster Muriel who strangles a Mandalorian with his bare hands and steals and takes the armor from him. And that's how Jaster Muriel gets the Boba Fett armor. And then he becomes Boba Fett. But like it being called the book of Boba Fett, I would love if they threw back to this Tales of the Bounty Hunter book and had it be like not only tales of like maybe, just like what we were hoping for with the Obi-Wan show,
Yeah.
where like not only do we get like what's going on now, but we also get like and the Lando show, like where we also get like the throwback kind of episodes,
Yeah,
where we
much
get to
younger
see like
versions.
a much younger version, like Boba Fett in his prime, like on a mission with Dengar or Bosk. Like I would love to see like just different
Greedo.
tales. Yeah, that would be amazing.
Well,
like
saying
I
that,
would love to see just like if it's called the Book of Boba Fett and they're like trying to tie in like all the delicious little pieces of EU that they haven't yet.
yeah.
I would love to see like some Tales of the Bounty Hunter shit go down.
Well, you say that. You know the episode when Boba like kicks ass and then obviously the ship gets destroyed. He then shows Mando his chain code to show that it's like he was a foundling and stuff. Have you there's a YouTube channel called New Rockstars who do amazing Easter egg breakdowns of the videos of each episodes, but with translating the chain code like on his arm, it shows that his it says like his father is Fett, and it says Fett's mentor. It says Jaster's name in that chain code. So again,
Really?
yeah, no, it's like it was one of the things. It was like he was Django was adopted as a it was adopted. It doesn't say what year because it cuts off. So adopted in certain year. Adopted on Concord Dawn, which is the home of the Protectors, where Fen Rao is from, of where his group is one of the moons of Mandalore, and he says his mentor was Jaster. It says it cuts off, so you don't see the full name.
Oh my
And
god.
then it's like a father Fett, and then Boba Fett. So it's like it's Jaster has been is
now canonized.
That's a canon name that was Jango Fett's mentor.
That's super dope because I met my best friend because I had you want to talk about Star Wars fans like and the love of Star Wars fans. Back I'm in 6th grade. It's like 1990 something. And like I have a Princess Leia folder. And instead of getting picked on, my friend's like, I fucking love Star Wars. And we started going back and forth. And the question that he got me on was, what is Boba Fett's real name? And at that point, it was Jaster Muriel. But fun thing about that chain code, my fiance, Allie, has gotten super into especially the Mandalorian. So thank you, Mandalorian. Because she was kind of into it. She liked porgs and stuff like that, but Mandalorian like made her into it, right?
Yeah.
And so she kind of goes a little nuts sometimes and buys me like really, really nice things. She got herself the line of Adidas Mandalorian shoes. So she has the Darksaber ones, which are super fucking dope. But she decided to give me these, and we got them before that episode. So I really had no fucking idea what they meant and why it was significant.
Oh my Christ! So you've actually got the chain code. on shoes.
On the shoes, yes, there are Boba Fett. You've got the Boba Fett, emblem right there in the middle of it, and it's like, why is it brown? Why does it have these weird marks all over it? And then why does it have Boba Fett on the tongue?
Well, that's the bounty hunter logo, isn't it? It's not
It's
Boba
it's
specifically.
it's I think it's Boba specifically, isn't it?
No,
No.
no, that's
Oh.
part of the that was part of the where the armor was. That symbol was above
Gotcha.
there, but still.
It's the
Yeah,
bounty
I was just
hunter
like, what is
thing.
it? Yeah, what does it mean? And like after that episode, I went from like being like, oh my god, these shoes, to like, oh my god, these shoes.
Yeah, yeah, right. They were already cool.
Yeah.
Now they're 10 times
so.
more awesome.
Yeah, those are dope as hell. I can't help admit that I'm jealous, and they look nice too.
Yeah. So like that's really cool. But yeah, that's what I want out of the Book of Boba Fett is like I would love to see, we got to see a little bit of the IG unit like kicking ass,
Yeah, so let's
but I
extend on
would
that.
love
There's
to see
multiple of those. You know?
yeah, because IG-88 is the one
He's
in
the OG.
Empire. Yeah. So I would love the skull of the mythosaur.
But it's
Excuse me.
it's gonna probably focus mostly on like how he got out of the Sarlacc. That's my guess, and then like what he's doing with his new empire since he took over for Jabba. Like
Well,
he's gonna try and run the Hutt cartel, or at least run them out, and we're gonna see like he'll probably get like we'll see because they're super into the fan service. We'll get Dengar and Bosk.
Oh.
yeah.
And
If Simon
IG-88
plays
probably.
if Simon Pegg plays Boss Dengar, that'd be pretty cool because
Yeah.
he voices him in Clone Wars.
Right.
That would be amazing.
But yeah, so like, and we'll just get to see like they'll probably come work for him, and he'll run his thing. He'll probably run afoul of Mando. It seems like they're, they
Also,
don't
that's
necessarily have like,
The same interests.
yeah, they have conflicting kind of points of views and way of doing things.
Well,
So
see, either that or because this is like technically a part of the Mandalorian. Like I can only think that the Mandalorian's gonna end up with Slave One. Like we need something as a replacement for the Razor's crest.
and then
I tried to turn him up.
and then going by the end of a Mando and stuff. It's like if Boba's going to be there, he might not end up needing the ship. He might like offer it onto him. And with the behind the scenes thing, they spoke about going through the whole rigmarole for creating the interior of Boba's ship for the volume, the thing that they use for like the 3D projection. So like they went through all of that effort to
because of like
be able to
how
create it.
how the bridge where you sit would have to stay still as the ship rotated into space, and they had that
tilting, yeah.
all figured
I mean,
out.
anybody
and,
that held that toy as a kid, it's like
Yeah.
when it moves, like it's like when you're inside, it's like you mustn't. It's like how insane that would have been, and we've never really seen that properly, because that would have been like an Inception level of like building a set to do it like practically.
Like that was like one of my big freak out moments. I was just like, we've never seen this much of the inside of this ship. Like,
Yeah,
oh my god! Like, just getting to like see inside of it was so awesome.
it really was.
And the fact that the dashboard was identical to the how we saw it in Attack of the Clones as well. Just like again, just those little details.
Oh, and yeah, and dropping the seismic bomb in the atmosphere, like
charge.
hearing that sound effect, the seismic charge, like hearing that sound again was just, I'm getting chills right now with it. Like that episode was just
that warm, just
everything about that episode like was just so badass. Just like, I've come for the armor, Mandalorian. Like that was
not
my father's,
armor,
and like
my armor.
And
then I'm just a simple man finding his way through the galaxy. So
if there was any way for them to bring him back in style and give justice to the character, it was that fucking episode right there. Like,
they did 100%. It perfectly. Yeah.
It's what
Seeing
Robert
like
Rodriguez says in that back behind the scenes. He says like I'm going to treat this episode as though this is the only time we'll ever get to see Boba again. You know, I don't care about story progression and stuff. We're going to put as much of Boba as we can.
Oh, and also they talked about in that behind the scenes, which I think is interesting to bring up, that the fighting style that Boba employs is the
Very,
guy who plays the actor, or the actor who plays the role. He is inspired by him because he is from New
he's New
Zealand,
Zealand, so it's all
and
about the Maui hacker style.
oh
Maori.
yeah,
He's and it's all like the fighting is based on his Maori style, because like you see him doing it, and like he's saying that like under
with the
the
gaffy
mask,
stick.
Yeah,
he had his like tongue sticking out and shit while he was doing like all the like dancing moves and like the fighting Maori stuff.
yeah, and
Like
he
that is so fucking cool.
specifically asked for a type of gaffy stick. He was like, no, this is the type I need to be able to fight. So they even
Yeah,
like had it customized and created for him.
It's like seeing like it's the first time that we get to see that tool be as brutal as it can. Like
As we hear
why
about him.
do yeah why are we so scared of the Tusken Raiders and these sticks? It's like now you know, because like you can straight up smash through a helmet if you're swinging it right. You know, it's just they did it like they did so much fan service in so many on so many different levels. It's like absolutely wild, right?
it's true.
Yeah, no,
So true.
and
That poor Stormtrooper, the guy just skull caved in, man.
Oh,
ooh,
like that's
decimated.
I just love it. I loved watching that helmet
And
just
the knee
crack
rockets.
open like that. I was not expecting knee rockets, and now it's like I have like the Black Series toy, and it's like sure enough he's got those little
Yeah, no,
things there. Like
because that was
didn't you see all that stuff?
that was like in the encyclopedia from like back in the 80s and stuff. So there was
It
like
was
a
the only time it was ever mentioned was in the encyclopedia back in the 80s that he had knee rockets, and they went all the way back to that encyclopedia and put it into the show to show that he had knee rockets. It's the first and only time we've ever seen him in action, but we found out about him in the 80s.
That's so like, and that just like goes to show like that you don't have to ignore the EU stuff. Like there are just ways to like at this point you can just lovingly pick all the
yeah,
delicious
exactly.
little crumbs
That's
out
what
of like
Filoni's
the
been doing. You
yeah,
know,
hey,
for the
what
past
worked,
12
what didn't
years.
work, what did people respond to? And yeah, just picking all these little fan service nuggets of goodness and just cramming it into these delicious cookies that like are good by them. You know, it's like having M&Ms in your chocolate in your cookies, right? Like
Peanut
I know you are
M&Ms.
in discussion mode, but I wanted to thank you for being involved at all times. Oh, General, great to see you. You know, there's
Pleasure to
always
have
time to
you.
talk to chat. So, love you too, man. I wish we got to hug at TwitchCon this year. General Andrews has the co-op record in Turtles in Time.
Oh, fuck
Really
yeah.
Yeah, which is
nice.
pretty badass. Like it's always if there's one way to watch Ninja Turtles being played, it's it's with it's two player, it's two people
Yep.
going at that game, and so
Yeah.
watching two people get the world record is just like it's dope watching the teamwork involved,
Hell
Yeah,
you
yeah.
no,
know.
definitely.
And like they like work together in like unison, like the Pacific Rim operators now, like just knowing what to do like in that game to optimize times. It's absolutely awesome. And like I want to bring back Turtle Tuesdays, and you might not notice, but I've got a bunch of Ninja Turtle stuff behind me, uh, General. So I would
So
love
you
to have
might
you
have a
on to
real
talk
fan.
turtles. Yeah. um, but yeah, and if you ever want to talk Star Wars, I would love to have get more guests on to talk Star Wars as well.
We
Because
love
I
Star Wars.
yeah, I would love to get anybody on to just talk about their personal experiences with Star Wars. And we were like, oh, we're gonna like maybe top this out at 2 hours, and like I'm sure we've been going
Here
for
we are,
three
3.5
already. Yeah,
hours later.
3.5 hours, and we're all like, well, hey, I'd like to touch this topic again, and this topic again, and this topic again, and this topic again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
True.
it's
I think because we didn't really get too much into depth through it, even though this was supposed to be what it was about mostly. Like the next one that we do, we go like really into depth with a lot of the episodes of The Mandalorian and say like, uh, all the details of like what we liked, what we didn't like, what details we enjoyed being put into there, our favorite episodes, stuff like that.
With I
Um,
mean, I will easily say that the last 3 episodes of The Mandalorian are the best Star Wars that we've had since Empire Strikes Back. Like that's where I'm
nice.
standing. Like no matter what my little nitpicky bullshit is about it, like it is easily some of the most glory like they can suck my fan service dick all day the way they're doing it. Like I don't
Yeah,
care if
right.
people are like, "Oh man, like it's just appealing to fans on this level." Like this is exactly
That's
this is the
exactly
Star Wars that I've been wanting. You
that's
know,
exactly the
like
people they should be pandering to. They've got 40 years worth of hardcore fans. And
right.
fuck you,
And
by the way, Fire Rusi. I see that message. I'm not going to
Yeah,
acknowledge it.
I have met Sir Alec Guinness back in the 80s
wow.
while on holiday in Petersfield. Wow.
Yeah, so
So I
fuck
like
you.
I actually didn't get to talk about the people that I've met because I've met actually a handful of people. I didn't. Not only did I meet C-3PO at that one event, when I was quite young, I met
Massive success, dude.
Jerome Blake, who was the Monashuan commander. More importantly, in the Fifth Element, like that's what I was way more excited.
Okay.
But he was one of the like racist Asian aliens in Phantom Menace, like one of
Oh,
the
part of the
Republic,
Trade
yeah,
Federation.
one of the Trade Federation guys.
But they are still
Um,
coming through.
yeah,
Like Newt
was.
Gunray?
Yeah, he was. I'm pretty sure he was Newt Gunray, in it.
Our
But
blockade is perfectly
the
legal.
other guy that was with him, I unfortunately can't even remember his name right now. But he was the guy that gets choked by Darth Vader in the first Death Star he's like the guy that like your sad devotion to that ancient religion
Yeah,
hasn't been able to conjure up the stolen data tapes, so
that's
like
enough,
I got
Vader.
to meet that guy. Yeah, right. Um which was pretty cool. And then I went home for Christmas, and I watched the all the behind the scenes stuff because I adore the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah,
For all the Star Wars movies, it's
yeah,
like
man.
what got me into movie making. In fact, this is the other picture that I had to share. Was you talk about what you want to do in kindergarten, like even back then I knew exactly what I wanted to do. Like I didn't even want to be Darth Vader. I wanted to be the guy behind the camera shooting Darth Vader. And that was because I watched the From Star Wars to Jedi, the making of
Is
Star
that literally
Wars.
you drawing Tatooine?
That's me behind the camera
Yeah.
shooting Darth Vader. I'm not sure what planet we're. I think it's blue. It's probably Hoth because I really loved Hoth because I lived in the Midwest. So snow, like the moment snow started falling, I no longer
Oh,
lived in Milwaukee. I
you
lived
lived
on
in
Hoth.
half.
Like
That's fair,
they
fair.
didn't sell lightsabers, but the only telescoping thing that I could find was there were telescoping magnets that my dad had for when he dropped stuff behind his workbench, and so that was my lightsaber. My dad bought me one specifically to be a lightsaber.
That's
But
awesome.
I watched the behind the scenes on The Force Awakens, and one of the scenes is like a little featurette on BB-8, and
I think I may have seen that.
all of the actors were talking about like, oh, Brian really brought BB-8 to life. Brian was so great and put so emotion into the character. And so it's just like, well, who is this Brian? And his name is Brian Heza, and he's a puppeteer. And so I reached out to him on Twitter, and I was just like, hey, how did you get into professional puppeteering? Asking for a friend, because I did it on the business account. And he's just like, oh, well, I just started doing it, in LA and stuff. And I don't know how it ended up happening, but he ended up friending me on Twitter and DMing me, and we've talked about puppets
Damn,
multiple
man.
times now.
That's
And it's like
fantastic.
it's wild. Yeah, like so the puppeteer of BB-8 just like messages me on Twitter every once in a while.
That's cool as hell.
Yeah, no, that is
um
actually fantastic.
and so like not only was he the puppeteer for BB-8, but like when the Olympics were in London, he was one of the puppeteers that helped bring that giant Voldemort puppet to life.
That's
Like that
awesome.
that they had in the middle
Oh,
of the
yeah.
stadium.
Yeah.
And he also helped on a bunch of the like monster puppets in the Hellboy movies and stuff like that. So
That's pretty fantastic to have a.
That's awesome.
So what about yeah, I guess we'll get into a little bit of a discussion since here's a topic. Why were you not a fan of Baby Yoda? Because honestly, I was worried about the Mandalorian. I was skeptical about the kind of show that Mandalorian was going to be until fucking this Baby Yoda shows up, and I was like, all right, they're not fucking around in this show. Like they're in it to be a part of the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
Here, like I was just like, all right, they are not fucking around.
This was the first canon. It was the first canon depiction of another version, another part of Yoda's race. The only other time.
No. In
Wow.
That is
episode,
well,
in
number
episode 1, there's the female Yoda
yeah,
type.
the yodel.
Oh, is
In
that
fem- in
is that
episode
Yaddle?
1.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Nice.
episode 1.
Okay, I didn't know she was in episode 1. To be honest,
Yeah.
I thought that was I
Is
thought
she
that was
still in
part of the,
episode 1? Has
the
she been
Ewoks and
edited out?
stuff.
I'm pretty
No,
sure she's still in episode 1.
she is in the chairs.
His name was never Baby Yoda though. That's the thing.
Because his name was Baby Yoda. That was simply a
It's the
moniker
child.
put on him by everybody. Like
fans.
not even yeah.
Yeah, the show
and
called
number
it the
2,
child.
like this is like a part of the issue with the people, and I know Tom is one of them that dislike the Last Jedi, which is like because he's a puppet. Like motherfucking Yoda was a puppet. Like you don't like Yoda, like he. What's wrong with puppet? Like that puppet grounded it so much more than it being CGI, and like the Jim Henson legacy, the legacy of puppetry in Star Wars. Like if you listen to Mark Hamill talk about Empire Strikes Back, his experience is dealing with that puppet.
Yeah.
Everything should be puppets in these shows and movies for
Yeah,
Star Wars. That's what it was built on.
I think
the physicality of it is like what grounds it in reality and what makes it
Practical effects.
something
And what was what's his name? Wurzel,
Werner Herzog.
Wurzel.
Yeah,
So that guy's. I would like to see that guy.
I would like to see the baby.
It's like when the original shooting, they were shooting both CG and puppet versions of the scenes because just to whether or not, and he was saying it's like fucking cowards, just use the puppet, it's perfect, it's literally amazing. You need a keep to the puppet, don't be a coward to like actually bring this fully.
See, like, and that's exactly like how can you not like Baby Yoda? Because number one, his name is completely irrelevant to what people say, and then number 2, you say he's a puppet, followed by nobody likes CGI Yoda, proving the point as to why it should be a fucking puppet.
Because everybody so you can't not like if you disliked Yoda, then you probably were like soured on the entire fucking series. You know. So if you dislike Yoda, then I understand.
Hey, I hate to break up here because but I need to go ahead and get off because I got a
I
friend.
promised you only 2 hours, so
I've got a friend. He was staying the night and he's got to leave kind of early, and I don't want to keep him up much longer. So
I understand.
But before you go, I just wanted to make sure that I said that I don't know if anybody's ever told you before, but have you ever seen What We Do in the Shadows? Have you ever seen that show on Hulu? Like, if you haven't, I don't know. But you look exactly like Nandor. Like, you look exactly like the main character of that show. Just throwing that out there. It's not an insult by any stretch. Just saying that's remind me a lot of Nandor. Anyways, that's all I had.
It was a pleasure to meet you, everybody.
Like, I get very passionate when I talk, and I know you don't mean any offense. I just like when somebody has an argument that they're not a fan of a character, like I need arguments like, oh, it ruins the continuity because I enjoyed this arc, or I didn't like this character because it breaks the reality. Like his name and him being a puppet has no consequence in how he plays into the story and how they're even using this character, tying it into both cloning and actually like giving a little bit of credence to this the Skywalker trilogy and how they cloned the Emperor. Like they used him in a phenomenal way. So like I enjoyed the use of the character. They didn't just choose this character because he's a cute character that could sell a bunch of fucking merchandise. They use the character because it's a meaningful part of the Star Wars relationship where they could then form a story that uses the lone wolf and cub as its source material, which is a badass idea.
Yeah.
No, I do totally
So-
agree.
But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get off. But thanks, guys,
It was
for
a pleasure
letting
to
me
meet you, dude.
join in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was even getting kind of sleepy myself, so I was just kind of chilling, listening to most of the conversations. At one point.
Indeed.
But I definitely want to do it again. And then
Soon.
we can actually get
Yeah.
into like more details on some other stuff. that,
Absolutely.
you know what?
There's a lot to talk. There's an endless amount of Star Wars to talk
Right, at
about,
this
and the
point, we're
more
just
details we
glossing
get,
over like subjects like in general. And then, so when we start
Yeah.
going, it's like, okay,
Yeah.
now Mandalorian episode 1 to 3, go.
yeah,
You know,
Yeah,
we could
yeah,
talk about individual
think-
episodes for 3 hours at this point.
yeah.
Do it,
I
Desmond, dude.
think the next one we definitely should go into like more detailed on like a specific thing because the first one we're doing is just all general stuff. But yeah,
That's
like
our
next
origin
one's more,
story,
like,
yeah.
we went through the we actually
into the nitty-gritty of
we
everything.
went through the list of new shows, so that
The
was our
entire lineup of
topic.
new
Yeah,
shows, yeah.
we went and and that kind
Yeah.
of splinters off because there is a lot to talk about within the context because those shows are, I mean, we're getting the full smattering of the Star Wars universe across those shows from High Republic to, that is, probably the see, and we can't stop talking about it.
Okay.
Because
No.
because this
Fucking
brings
go,
us to the
dudes.
point where it's
Go.
like everything is staying before this new trilogy of stuff, which is a really interesting thing to see as well. But hey, why don't we all sign off once again? I was BizSnes. Who else was here this evening? Jedi, why don't you go next? Just tell us, where we can find you, your socials and stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. If you need to find me on socials, it's at JTJediMaster Jedi. I have my real name listed on there just for like professional reasons and all that. It's just John Matthews. So you can follow me on Twitter. I don't do streaming anymore on my Twitch channel because I just can't get around to it. But if ever comes a time that I can actually do it again, I might start up, doing that stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And again, thanks guys for having me. And
It's a pleasure to
I
meet you,
definitely-
dudes.
I definitely look forward to doing it again, either next week or whatever time that y'all want to do. I don't know.
Okay.
We're pretty much locked in. This is our Tuesday thing from now on, I think.
That's what we're going to be trying to do, yeah.
Yeah, I was already talking to Tom about playing some other games and stuff like that. I think it'd be great if we, could get Republic Commando running on either Steam or, this emulator thing and have some fun there and play some games as well.
Yeah, we could always take it in turns to make
Yeah.
it's like with the use of emulators and stuff as well. We could go back to some of the older Star Wars games and pull up like a personal stream so like we can see it within the Discord and stuff. So it's like everybody we can take turns on like shitty levels and stuff like that. Maybe.
Yeah.
Is it possible to do a 4-player Empire at War?
Definitely if people own it.
Yeah, I think we do. We all own that game? I know Tom does because we've played it.
That's
together,
the one.
so.
I don't own it, unfortunately.
I don't have it on Steam, but I can get it.
Yeah, we'll see how we'll look into getting games for people and stuff like that too.
Oh yeah.
So but yeah, I would love to. I would even like if we could get enough people, the more we get people going and the more people see that this is a thing every Tuesday, I'd love to get like a Jedi Knight 2 server going and we get some like old school, we get everybody in one room, but we just do like some one-on-one.
Some death matches.
Like some lightsaber battles, because the lightsaber battles in those games were so much fucking fun.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, once again, we're all see. We just can't stop talking about Star Wars. Time Lord, give us your socials and stuff like that.
I feel like we should have the fucking Brady Bunch music playing at the end. We're like, we look at each other, and it's just like we're laughing, and it's like, Biz, oh hey, oh.
I wish we could get the cameras to just rotate through,
right?
Yeah, like it was Jedi. Fuck up your camera again, so it's rotating the way it was for the end of this.
That'd be perfect. Intentional screw ups right at the end.
Yeah, no shit. You guys know me. I'm LostTimeLord. You know where to find me. I love you guys. I appreciate being able to be here and doing this and having fun talking to you guys tonight. Mwah.
And finally, Maddie.
Hey, I'm Matty P. Follow Matty P89 on Twitch, Bid Games 89 everywhere else. It has been a pleasure. It's a pleasure speaking with all you guys and to host this for you guys as well. Everybody out there in the world of Twitch. Big smiles.
Hey. Yeah, and this is the first of many. So yeah, strap in. We're gonna be talking Star Wars every Tuesday from now on, I think, because it's a fun fucking topic. So
Indeed.
We do
yeah, and we
enjoy
can
the
all host Beefy. Drop his name in
Let's
your channel.
all raid
Yeah.
Beefy.
Yeah, let's just break. Let's see. Let's really test out this Twitch raid thing. Just drop his straight up name in your channel so I can copy it real quick because I have so many fucking
yeah, they know that.
windows open right now. I don't want to try to open another one to find his name right now. So
Yeah,
I've
Let
got
me
the
know when.
rate
Let me
com-
know when we're gonna press enter.
So let press enter together,
Yeah.
and then like we can wait. So we'll do a countdown together.
Okay.
So hit enter.
Okay. And nobody
And
go
then-
yet.
Yeah, nobody
Yeah,
go yet.
We're gonna break his fucking bot.
Yep. Mine is active.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
Mine
mine's-
is too.
all
so
right,
guys, it's been a
3,
pleasure. Never a chore. We'll see you next time.
Love you all.
3, 2, 1,
Go!
raid.
See ya.
Let's see Beefy lose his shit, shall we?
Oh, there's 3 of them at the same time.
Three
I wonder
what?
if that'll 3 raids.
Oh.
We need to call this like a trilogy raid or something
Yes.
like that, and have a Star Wars emote for
Yeah,
it.
prequel trilogy. Let's have 3 different emotes for us. Like, what raid was this? Was it a prequel trilogy? Was it an original, or was it a sequel?
Matty P and BizSnes.
What's going on, gentlemen?
General Mata.